Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo. One of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases.
On my day, my name is Cordelia Gaffar, the Ultimate Joy Goddess. I'm a best-selling author, multi-award-winning speaker, and host of the Free to Be Show podcast, for which I've also won 2 awards. I've created 2 unique processes. Invite women to nurture yourself. I use the word self-nurturing, not self-care, because there is a distinction. When you nurture yourself, you are caring for every single in your body and every single choice you make. Remember,
what if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle, with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being, with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Welcome to Intentionality with Dominique, the show that helps business owners become valued and in-demand suppliers in the marketplace to scale their businesses. Let's start today's show with host and intentional connector, Dominique Simpson-Milton.
My favorite question to ask, but what would you say is the difference between working in your business versus working on your business?
Oh my goodness, it's a mindset for sure. And prior to working with the council and working with you, I don't even know that I placed as much emphasis and importance on it. But now I understand the importance of working on the business, which is that business development, strategic planning, taking that 30,000 foot view, every 6 months and definitely at least once a year to find out what's working well, what's not, pivoting if there's a need to pivot, adding new verticals. Like, that's working on the business. Working in the business is the day-to-day operations.
Right. Putting out fires in the day-to-day, responding to emails, that type of thing. And working on the business is setting a strategy based on, what's going on in your various industries. What are the trends, and making sure that you are doing the steps to stay in front of those trends.
As you grow and as you evolve, I'd say there are a couple of things to that. One is, if you are in the weeds every single day, and quite frankly, when you start a business, there's not a lot of, it's hard not to be, right? Because you're probably small when you start. There are probably not enough resources for the things that you have to do. That's normal. But as you grow and as you evolve, you start to understand that if your view is here, then you cannot gain the perspective to see all of the interrelationships and all of the opportunities and all of the strategic maneuvers that you should be doing in order to take grow your business in step functions as opposed to incremental.
Well, working in the business is doing everything. You wear all the many hats. Working on the business is finding out what hat you like and then being able to put in processes, systems, people that will help complement your skills.
Chasing the dollars, trying to make sure payroll is done. You have enough work to cover payroll and $2 or $3 in your pocket. The next thing you know, year after year, you're in a rat race. You never been trained to develop your business or to take it to another level.
As long as I can focus on where we are going, because no one else is doing that in the company, except for me. So if I can see, here's where we're going, and I need all 10 of y'all to come with me, then if we all do that together, then the business grows because everyone is focused on the thing they're supposed to be focused on.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of business owners, particularly when you're just getting started, you're wearing multiple hats. I tell people all the time, I was always letter E, all of the above, when we used to fill in those multiple choice tests. And even now I still do a lot, but what is really great is that right now I'm in Richmond. My team back in Raleigh is handling everything. I don't have to pick up the phone. I don't have to check that email because I know that they can take on whatever is being thrown at them.
Take time to slow down in order to speed up. Invest in CVM SDC developmental programs each year to grow your business. Working in equals maintaining. Working on equals growth. Visit cvmsdc.org for more information on our development programs. Email us at info@cvmsdc.org.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Good day, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Jamila Burrell. I am your business moderator for this session on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about businesses. Our first speaker is Star Babatoon. Her mission is to help professionals, especially women and those whose voices have been overlooked, reclaim their stories, amplify their voices, and step boldly into leadership and visibility. She does that by equipping them with powerful communication, storytelling, and presentation skills that elevate their presence, income, and impact. I present to you Star Babatoon.
Hey, Jamila. Good to see you, sister.
Good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
Genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side.
Excellent. So, as you know, my name is Star Babatoon, and I believe that every time you speak, it is a performance, and every place you speak is a stage. The problem is there are a lot of professional women who are not giving the performances they want on the stages they take, right? And so just to make sure that you're in the right place, let's just talk about who this is for. Perhaps you are that professional who is seeking clarity, right? That you want to show up with more clarity, you want to show up with more confidence, or maybe you are a leader, right? You're a leader in a corporation, and you know you have to give more presentations, more briefings, more standing in front of people, because the higher you go, the more your communication skills are important. So maybe that's you, or you might be a business owner, right? You might be a business owner and your business is growing. It's doing great, but it's not growing exactly the way you would like it to grow. So maybe that is you. Maybe that you know that you've got some untapped potential, that there is more to you than you are letting the world see, right? And you would like to tap in to that. Then if that is you, then you are in the right place. And I am very excited to have you here. And so I know why you're here. I know why you're here. You know, we just talked about it a little bit, but it is like, I want you to imagine that you are, here it is. You are taking a bus ride, right? A bus drive, a bus to your destination, right? And in order to go onto this bus ride, you want to take everything that you need, right? Everything that you need, because you're on this ride, the place you want to get to in your career, in your business, in personally, right? You're close, but you're not quite there. And so you're on this bus journey to your destination. And what are you going to do when you go on a long road trip? What do you do? What do you bring with you? I know. You're going to say, got to have some music. Excellent. Of course, you got to have some music. You might be saying, look, Star, I'm the type of person, I need some snacks. I need snacks too. I love having snacks on a drive. You might need some snacks, right? Maybe a pillow, I don't know, a blanket, something like that. But the other thing that you are going to take on this bus ride are your hopes and your dreams. You're going to take your hopes and your dreams on this ride. You know what? You're also going to take your experience. You're going to bring that on the bus. You're going to bring your expertise on the bus, your education, your credentials. You bring it all on the bus because you feel you need all these things for this long road trip to your destiny. Yes? So you've got all of this on the bus, your expertise, your education, your credentials. In fact, hold up, you go out and you get even more credentials and you invite them on the bus. So here you go. You got everything that you need, right? Everything that you need to get to your destination, right? And you get in this giant bus. You get in this giant bus and you're driving. You got everything you need. And you're trying to go to South Florida. You're trying to go to South Florida. Just play with me. Play with me. You're going to South Florida. South Florida is your destination. This is a place of joy, of sunshine, of satisfaction, right? The aim is to get to South Florida. You get in the bus, you start driving, but for some reason, you keep ending up in North Dakota. You're going for South Florida, but you keep ending up in North Dakota. And let me just give you a visual in case you are geographically challenged. All right. So if you're looking at a map, and I'm the map of the United States, Florida is down here. Right down here. That's the panhandle. That's Florida. North Dakota is up here, people. You see what I'm saying? Florida's down here. North Dakota is up here, and you're not getting to your destination. So this is what you do. You don't give up because that's not you. That's not you. You don't give up. Here's what you do. You open up the door and you invite more tools on the bus, right? You get yourself a business coach because that's going to help, right? You get yourself a business coach and you bring that business coach on to the bus and you're doing good. You're doing good, right? You might also start working on your vision. You know what? Let's work on your vision and your mission. Let's do that. Oh, but you're a smarty, aren't you? Yeah, you're a smarty. So you're going to read some books. You're going to read some books. You're going to go to some seminars, right? And now you've got it together. You have got it together. South Florida, here you go. And you get on the road and bam, North Dakota. Now, you're getting a little frustrated, right? You're getting a little frustrated because you can't understand why you keep trying to go in this position, this direction, and you're not getting there, right? So, but you're not giving up hope because you are not a quitter. You are not a quitter. So you start piling on the affirmations. Yeah. Ooh, the affirmations, the personal development, right? We're gonna work on our chakras. We're gonna align them and stuff. That we're gonna do all of that inner work that is so necessary because you're gonna get it, right? But you still can't get to South Florida. You still end up where? Bam! North Dakota. You still end up in North Dakota, right? So you get more mechanics, right? You're going to get a better website person. You're going to get a PR person. You're finally going to get that assistant that you know you've been needing, right? You learn how to tell a better story, how to sell from the stage, how to market to your tribe. You bring all these things on the bus to help you get to South Florida, and bam, you're in North Dakota again. Or maybe you get as far as Georgia, maybe even get to North Florida, but you can't quite get to the destination. You can't quite get to the place that you want to be. I'm just wondering if anyone can relate. Can you relate? So you probably want to know why. Do you want to know why you cannot get to your destination? It's because you are not driving the bus. I know you're saying, Star, if I'm not driving the bus, who's driving the bus? Your backstory. Your backstory is driving the bus. Your backstory is the hidden belief story that you believe about yourself. Your backstory is the combination of your fears and your insecurities. It's all of the old baggage that you've been hauling around for years, maybe even decades. It is the story that says, hey, you're not good enough for this. Or the story of comparison that says, you're not enough. Did you see the way the other people are doing it? You're not as good as they, right? It is the story that says you don't deserve love. The story that says that you are unworthy of success. Your backstory is in the driver's seat, making navigational decisions based on your fears and your insecurities. See, I believe that we live our lives according to three stories. We got three stories that we're living our lives, the three stories that we tell. The first story we tell is the cover story. Yeah, it is the story we tell to the public. This is the story where everything is beautiful, business is good, the kids are great, I've got my ducks lined up in a row and I'm taking aim, right? That's the story you see on social media, right? All over social media. That's the story that you see all the time, but it's a cover story. By definition, a cover story is a fictional account used to cover up the truth, right? The real story, that's the next one. The real story is the story that we tell ourselves, right? The real story is what's going on. It's what's really going on, right? The real story is the one we do not share with the world. Thank you very much. We are not sharing this story with the world. We don't want anybody to know this story. And you know what? I don't know what this story is. I'm going to tell you. This story is you are tired. You are frustrated. Business sucks and the kids have lost their minds. That is the real story. But ladies and gentlemen, you will not see that story on social media. You are not going to see that story on social media. Nope. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. But that brings us to the most powerful story of all. And that is the backstory, right? Woo. And the backstory is tricky. It's tricky because, you know, most of us don't even know that it's going on. We don't even know that it exists, and yet it is running our lives. See, the backstory is the story that tells you that you're not enough, that you won't be accepted, that you're not worthy. And all the other things that you bring on that bus, they don't matter. They don't matter because none of those things is driving the bus. Your backstory is driving the bus. And as long as your backstory is driving the bus, you are never going to get to South Florida. All right. Never is very strong. You might get to South Florida by sheer will and force, by the skin of your teeth, by your fingernails. You might get there, but you don't stay there. Because as soon as you ease up, as soon as you take a breath, bam, North Dakota. One of my mentors said that our lives are defined, determined, and directed by the stories we believe about ourselves. And the story we believe is the backstory. Now, I'm not judging here, right? Because I know all about the backstory because for years, for decades, my backstory was driving my life and I had no idea. Let me take you back a little bit if you're willing to go with me, right? It was late on a Tuesday night and a friend of the family called my mama and said, can you get Star out to California by Friday for an audition? I was on a plane on Wednesday on my way to California. And on Friday, I auditioned for the lead role in a TV show. I was 16 years old. I had been acting for most of my life. right? I've done stage plays. I did some movies, television, commercials, and I loved it. But this, ladies and gentlemen, this was my big break. This was it, the lead role in a TV show. Man, oh man, oh man. But the thing is, what I didn't know is that they had already given the role to Janet Jackson. Yeah, that Janet Jackson, as if there's another, right? The contracts were already at her attorney's office. All she had to do was go in there and sign the papers. But then I auditioned and they gave the role to me. So I get to say for the rest of my life that I beat Janet Jackson out for the lead role in the TV show. Come on, come on. And you see what that did to her career. Nevertheless, this was a very exciting time for me. I mean, it was a dream come true, but it turned into a nightmare. It seemed that there was a lot of stress, a lot of tension, hostility in my inner circle, and I thought that it was because I was successful. And this went on for 2 years. The show went on for 2 years, and while this should have been the most exciting time of my life, I was miserable. I was miserable. And by the end of the second year, the only way that I could think to make it stop was to step out of the spotlight, to give up acting. And I walked away from it. I gave it up. I took this gift that I had, this love that I had, and I wrapped it up and I put it away. In essence, I muted my voice and I dimmed my light. And I wonder if anybody else knows anything about that, right? If you've ever had the experience, if you've ever made the decision to dim your light, to show up a little bit differently in order to keep the job or keep the relationship, or heck, just keep the peace, to speak a little less often, a little less truthfully, to say the things that people need to hear rather than what you really feel. Has anyone felt that? Is it just me? I don't think it's just me. But look, I don't want you to feel bad about me because I had a good life. I had a really good life. I got married. I had a couple of kids. I'm working as an attorney. Life was good. Life was good. But deep down inside, something was wrong. I remember I would drive home from my attorney job in my fancy car, right? And I'd grip the steering wheel and I'd grip it for dear life. And I'd put a smile on my face and I'd remind myself I had everything to be grateful for, every reason to be happy, but still something wasn't right. You ever have a feeling in your life, you ever have a moment in your life where nothing is wrong? Nothing is wrong, but something just ain't right. And that's where I was. And that's where I stayed because I wasn't willing to do anything about it. Excuse me, did I mention I had a good life? I had a good life. We had we had the cars and the house and vacations abroad and the kids in private school. I was not trying to mess that up. I was not. But a mentor of mine said, when you are too afraid to make a move in your life, life will move on you. And in the matter of a year, life moved on me. In the span of a year, my life turned upside down. My father died, my job went away, and my marriage fell apart. And during this darkness, a friend invited me to a personal development seminar. And I'll just say, I didn't want to go. Not interested. Thank you very much. I was having a pity party where I was the, guest of honor. I wasn't trying to fix it, but I went anyway. And I remember I'm sitting in this audience and I am watching some amazing speakers go across the stage, just amazing people. I think Michael Gerber was there. Jack Canfield was there. Barbara DeAngelis. I mean, they were just amazing speakers there. And I was impressed with them, with what they were doing. But I was more impressed with what they were doing to the audience, right? These speakers, with their passion, with their words, they were impacting this audience. You know what I'm saying? The audience was leaning in, right? The audience was in tune. They were listening to every word and they were being transformed. And it was in that moment that I realized that that was me. That's what I used to do. And so that is when I decided to come back to the audience, right? Come back to the stage, to reclaim my voice, to illuminate my light, and come back to the stage as a speaker and a trainer. And yeah, I came back. But the road wasn't easy. You know, people say, yes, now I decided to reclaim my voice and life's been great ever since. Life hasn't been great ever since. I mean, at the time I decided to do that, I'm a single parent. I'm raising 2 kids, one of them with special needs. My journey back to myself was not easy peasy. And here's the deal. I accomplished great things. I really did. I was trained by world-renowned motivational speaker Les Brown. I spoke internationally with him. I ran his speaker training program. I became the #1 trainer in a national seminar company, both in sales and performance. I even owned a multi-6-figure consulting company. I did some great things. But even so, even with all of that, there was a feeling inside that I was unworthy, right? That, ooh, this is scary. Somebody's going to find out any moment that I don't deserve all of this. And my success was intermittent, to be honest. I'd have a few years up. They're always followed by some sort of crash. One year, I could take my daughter to Disney World, all the bells and whistles, whatever you want, honey. And then the next year, I struggled to buy a homecoming dress. Whew. I ended up filing bankruptcy, nearly lost my house. Had a series of bad relationships, and not just the romantic kind. Man, there was just a cycle of ups and downs, and it was frustrating and exhausting. I just can't tell you how many times I gave up. And I'd say, you know, this is too bad. This is too hard. I can't do this. I just could not understand why, when I was purposely aiming for South Florida, I kept ending up where? North Dakota. So reclaiming my voice, deciding to come back to the stage was one thing, but amplifying my voice was another. Now, it took multiple coaches, therapists, personal development, self-reflection, but eventually I figured out the reason I couldn't get to my destination is because I wasn't driving the bus. It was my backstory full of limiting belief and self-doubt that was driving the bus. And you want to know what my backstory was? My backstory was, if I am successful, I will lose love. That is what I learned when I did that TV show. I was successful, and it seemed to me that I lost love. So every time that I would do something good, get my business to a certain level, then I would come back down. You know, it just kept going up and down. Yeah, my backstory was keeping me from fully amplifying my voice, my message, and my life. So I needed to let go of the idea. First of all, I needed to let go of a lot of things, but I needed to let go of the idea that I needed to do it alone. Because, yeah, I was trying to do it alone, right? I also needed to do the deeper work, the spiritual work. It needed to be done. But through all of that, I found a better path, right? I have faith, spirituality leading me, therapy and practical skills on either side of me, and some technical support behind me. So I'm surrounded. And then that's when things finally started to shift for me and be consistent, right? And as I look back, I realized that there are certain steps that I took that were essential to my transformation. And I created a framework from that, a framework I'm going to share with you in a little bit, framework that I have used also to help many professionals reclaim their voices. right? And that's why I'm here today. This is why I do the work that I do, right? I train and I coach professional women to reclaim and amplify their voices. This is deeply personal for me because I know what it's like to live with a muted voice and a dimmed light because I did it for 15 years. I did it for 25 years. 25 years, a lifetime. I suppressed my voice, I dimmed my light, and I struggled. I struggled with self-doubt. So I've been through it and I've done the work. I've amplified my voice and I am still amplifying my voice. I am still doing the work, right? And I'm using my Amplify framework to help others do the same. So that's how we get to where we are today. So I want to talk to you about the biggest struggles that my clients have. And I just want you to let me know, if to let me know if you've ever experienced this, right? So most of my clients feel overlooked and undervalued, right? They ask themselves all the time, how much longer? How much longer do I have to keep proving myself? Haven't I done enough? Because they know that they've done enough, but they're not being recognized for it, right? Or a lot of my clients, they struggle to balance it all, right? They're just trying to do this balance act all the time, right? Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough as a mother, as a wife, as a leader, right? They feel stretched thin, but then still worried that they're not doing enough, right? And then there are the clients that are just frustrated and they've got this unexpressed anger and resentment, right? Because they know that they've been putting out for everybody. Oh, they have been supporting everybody, right? But then they're like, what about me? What about me, right? How can I keep showing up for everyone else when no one's showing up for me? How can I keep giving everything I have to other people and have nothing left for myself? So they're starting to feel a little frustration, a little resentment there. And then there are those who are feeling guilty. These are my high achievers. They have accomplished so much, right? God, I know what that's like, right? They've got the good job, the family, everything is good. Everything is good. And yet something's not right. Right? They're feeling guilty because they want more. And they ask themselves, shouldn't this be enough? Why can't I just be grateful for where I am? Plus they got people around them telling them the same thing. And then there are some that are just longing for growth, longing for change. They're tired of playing small. They know they've got so much inside of them and they're just ready to rewrite the story, right? But they don't know where to start. There are those who feel like they've been quiet for too long and their story needs to be told. So those are the top 5 struggles that the people I work with, they come to me for that. And if that resonates for you, just know that I understand. But what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to imagine instead the joy and power that comes from fully embracing who you are, your unique talents, your gifts, your abilities. When you shine your own light, you feel more alive. You feel more authentic, more real. I'd like you just to imagine it, how that would make you feel, right? How that would impact your body and the way you show up. And when you feel good, you attract people who appreciate and celebrate the real you. You inspire others to do the same. You create this ripple effect of positivity and empowerment. Yes, and that is where we want to be. And that is what I want to share with you, right? The journey that we're going to be on today, right? And so I've had many years, trials and errors, and I'm not saying I got it all figured out, but I got a lot of it figured out, right? And so I've been able to move my backstory out of the driver's seat. It's still on the bus. It's still on the bus, but I'm making it sit in the back. Sit in the back of the bus, right? And every now and then it tries to creep up, and I'm like, no, back you go, back you go. I've been able to do that and to amplify my voice. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you my Amplify framework. right? The entire Amplify framework. And then we're going to take the first 3 steps and we're going to be amping your voice and your message. And then I'm going to give you some communication tools. I think I have time to do all of that, right? All right. All right. And so before I do that, I'm going to answer a question that you might be thinking. You might be thinking, so what? Why does any of this matter? Why is it important for me to amplify my voice? Why can't I just go through my life the way it is? Average, normal, mediocre, a little bit repressed. What's the big deal? And the reason is because I feel that someone is waiting for your voice. Someone is waiting to hear from you, right? Remember, I told you I had gone to that conference and all these amazing speakers were there. Well, one of the speakers that I saw that day was Les Brown, right? Now, there were 11 other speakers there, but Les Brown, his was the only voice that moved me to action. I mean, made me get up out of my seat and go and get his program. And making that decision changed the trajectory of my life. And one of the things that he talked about was the fact that he resisted being a speaker for about 14 years. About 14 years, he dimmed his light and muted his voice because he was afraid, because of his own backstory. And he's grateful that he came out of that. But I ask myself sometimes, what if he had not amplified his voice? I don't know where I would be. See, I was waiting for his particular voice. The other 11 people, they were great, but they didn't speak to me the way he spoke to me. There are people out there who will not hear my voice. They won't hear that other person who does the work that you do. They will only hear your voice, your way. And that's why it's important. Because somebody's waiting for you. And you amplifying your voice can change the trajectory of someone else's life. Someone is waiting for you. They're waiting for your story. Whether you are in business or you have a product or a service or some kind of leadership role, somebody is waiting to hear your voice, to be inspired by your light, your story, your message. Here's my question. How long are you going to make them wait? Not one more day. That's what we're talking about. Not one more day. So let's talk about amplifying your voice. So the word amplify, what does that mean when you think about it, right? It means, most people say it sounds like music, right? A sound. You want to amplify that, right? It means to enlarge or expand, especially a sound. It means to increase the strength of a sound. And I believe that to amplify your voice means increasing the strength of your voice. That is the sound we're talking about. It is about expanding your message and enhancing your life, right? Because amplifying your voice is not just, it's not just about speaking with intention. It's just not just about speaking louder. It's about speaking with intention, with authenticity, and with confidence. It's talking about going deeper. You know what I mean? Deepening the skills to communicate more powerfully, whether you're on a boardroom, on a stage, or everyday conversation. I said before, I believe that every time you speak is a performance. Every place you speak is a stage. It might be a stage of 1, a stage of 10, or a stage in front of 10,000. Every time you speak, right? So you want to be able to have that confidence in every situation, right? Amplifying your voice just means, it means to be, not to be, it means to refuse to be silenced by fear, doubt, and instead allowing your voice to reflect the power of who you are. And then you're going to amplify your voice, but you're also going to amplify your message, because your message is the heartbeat of your influence, right? It's about clarity, knowing exactly what you stand for, knowing exactly what you stand for. And then there's amplifying your voice, amplifying your life, right? And that is about continuous growth and that commitment to continuous growth. It's about It's about being willing to step outside of your comfort zone, to take risks, to pursue the things that set your life on fire. And when you bring it all together, amplify your voice, your message, your life, woo, you create a synergy that reinforces each part reinforces the other part, right? A strong, clear voice supports a powerful message, and both are essential for an amplified life. This is about stepping fully into your power so that you can lead, you can inspire, and you can create meaningful change, both in your own life and in the lives of others. So I'm going to quickly go through the entire framework. So the A is to acknowledge the backstory. First of all, you gotta acknowledge it. You gotta know that it's there. You gotta be aware of it before you can change it, right? You gotta own it so that you can change it. So that's recognizing the stories and the limiting beliefs that have held you back. Then it's mastering your inner message. So that's an inner message that's going all by itself. We got to change that, right? So we master our inner message by rewriting the story and crafting a new story, a powerful story that aligns with your strengths and your values. And then we prepare with purpose. We got to set clear goals. What do you want to use your voice for? What impact do you want to create, right? Preparation helps you knowing your why. So I am a presentation coach, and I help people do their presentations, right? I've helped people prepare for TED Talks and keynotes and trainings. And we always start with what I call your map, your message, your audience, your purpose. You got to prepare so that you have a clear message. And then the L is to leverage your strengths. You got to know what your strengths are. And a lot of times we get so deep in the doing of the things that we're doing that we don't recognize our strengths. So you got to leverage your strengths. And then we're just going to improve your clarity and delivery, right? This is where I work with students on not just the content of how they're going to speak, but then how are you going to move, right? What is your delivery? How are you going to engage the audience so that they stay with you? We got to work on that. We work on fostering connection. And that is the best way to do that is with stories. You might notice I tell a few stories, but that's how we foster that connecting. And you put all that together, and this is how you yield the results, right? You focus on the outcomes and changes that you want to see as a result of amplifying your voice. So this is my framework, right? And I've used it with a lot of people. I want to tell you about Betsy. So Betsy just wanted to do better in her one-on-one sales, right? She saw me speak at a networking event. She asked for my help, right? But in working with her, we first had to figure out why she was holding herself back, right? Why are you not speaking? What is the issue? Man, we had to go deep and find her backstory. Once we found it, we just acknowledge it, then we started creating a new story, right? We had to, we created a new story, and then we worked on changing that message. And finally, we could work on powerful sales story and her presentation, right? And here's what she had to say. I'm going to read her testimonial. Before we worked together, I struggled to find my voice, thinking I didn't have a story to tell. Star coached me to find my core message and develop it. Now I feel confident during events, and I've seen a 35% increase in my business. What? That's what I'm talking about. So when I work with people, we have to work on their stories first and their presentations, right? Because I realized I couldn't just work on the presentations. I always had to go back to the backstory. I had to work on the belief system. All right. So what I want to share with you now is just 3 parts, right? Just 3 things, right? The first one is acknowledging the backstory. And the way we would do that basically is I would ask you to think about the first time that you felt that your voice was dimmed. The first time, you know, when was your voice dim? Who was there, right? Because we want to go back to that moment. And usually it's a moment in childhood where someone who didn't mean any harm half the time said something to you, and you just took that as, oh, okay, that's what it means. I was one of my clients. Basically, she remembers being a little girl and wanted to play with her dad. And her dad was in the middle of something, and he kind of raised his voice with her and said, "No, I don't have time for you right now." And as a little girl, she interpreted that to mean she was not worthy of time. That's what she interpreted. And so she found herself always being a little shy, a little, not speaking up because she thought that she wasn't worthy of amplifying her voice. To see how this happens in childhood, right? We create this, we try to make sense of our lives. And unfortunately, as children, we don't have a bigger picture. Dad wasn't saying you weren't worthy of my time. Dad was saying, I'm busy right now. But that child didn't understand, didn't get it, made a whole scenario based on that one incident. And that one incident then drives her life. Woo! All right. So I would want you to think of your own backstory. And if we were working together, we would work it out. So then the next thing is to change, is to master your inner message, right? Because this is the message that has been going on and on and on and on. And you would want to change that message, right? I remember when my son was going into sixth grade, and he was very scared and nervous about sixth grade. And I said, "Babe, you're one of the smartest kids in sixth grade." He says, "No, I'm not, Mom. You don't know that." I kept telling him that story. And eventually his answer changed to, "Do you think so?" Then his answer was, "I know." And then at the end of the year, his answer was, "Well, of course I am." And he proved it by bringing home 7 A's. 7 A's. I told the boy a story, repeated it over and over and over again. He believed the story. He lived the story. My question to you, what story have you been repeating to yourself over and over and over again, right? We got to figure out what that story is, and we got to replace that story. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to think about 5 good things about yourself. 5 good things about you. And look, I'm not talking about I'm a good mother, I'm a good husband, not who you are in relation to other people. I need to know who you are. 5 good things about you. And you could take those 5 things, and with that, we can work on a new story. Yes, we work on a new story like that. All right, so that is master your message, right? So the next thing is to prepare, right? To prepare with purpose. That is the next thing. And one of the ways to prepare with purpose is to work on your communication skills. That's what we're going to talk about. Look, we can have a whole session just on preparation, right? Just on preparing, practicing, and performing. We're not going to do that today, but I do want to give you, I think I have time to give you about three of these communication skills. What I call these are confidence killers. These are confidence killers. These are the things that you do, that we do, that diminish how we appear in the world. Does that make sense? It diminishes how we look. It diminishes the confidence that people have in us, and we just don't come off. And one of them is hedging language. Hedging language. Well, I just wanted to say that, well, this is probably a stupid idea, but look, if you start out saying this is probably a stupid idea, guess what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it's probably a stupid idea. So let's not do that. Let's not do that hedging language. And the other thing is over apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Woo. Some of us are just perpetually sorry. And what sort of image does that give off? That we're perpetually sorry. I was on a plane going somewhere, and I'm in the window seat, and I got to go to the restroom. And so, I tap, tap, tap. The person next to me, she's asleep. And I say, "I'm sorry, I need to get out." And she says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "Why? Why are you sorry?" I didn't say that to her, but in my mind, I'm like, "Why are you sorry? You were sitting here in your own seat, minding your own business. You got no reason to be sorry that I have to go to the restroom. Not your fault." Right. All right. So I go to the restroom, and then I come back in. I was like, "Ugh, the line was so long." Guess what she says? "I'm sorry." "Why are you sorry?" Again, did you make the line long? No, you didn't. And I know it's a little thing, but if you're the type of person that is sorry all the time, if I'm listening to you constantly being sorry, to me, that says that you probably do a lot of things wrong. And is that the truth? It's probably not the truth. Like sometimes you could say, excuse me, instead of I'm sorry, right? There's just other things to do. But when we do that over apologizing, man, it just really diminishes the confidence. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about in terms of confidence killers is the undermining your own expertise. Undermining your own expertise. You get a compliment, and the first thing you go is like, oh, it's nothing, just doing my job. Could you stop doing that? Because it is something. It's not nothing. It is something, right? We need to embrace our accomplishments. And this is not about being braggadocious or having a big ego or lots of pride. It's just about accepting that you did something right. Just accept it, right? Have you ever given a gift to someone and it's not accepted? How does that make you feel? Makes you feel pretty bad, doesn't it? So when someone compliments something that you are doing, they are giving you a gift. And what are you saying? You're saying, no, thank you. Take your little gift and go on. That's what you're saying. Stop doing that. My invitation to you is to say, thank you. That's it. That's what you say when someone gives you a gift. And when someone acknowledges something good about you, they are giving you a gift. You say thank you. I remember I was at that seminar, the one that I didn't want to go to that changed the trajectory of my life. Anyway, I was at that seminar and I decided that I was still in a funky mood, still funky, but I decided I wanted to feel better. So when I go to a conference, my name tag is here and it says Star, and people stop and go, oh, what a lovely name, how nice. And generally I dismiss it. I deflect it. I just don't, it's like, come on, it's my name. I've heard it a million times. But I decided in this moment to accept the gift, that the next person who said something nice to me, I was going to accept it with gratitude and an open heart. And I remember we were in the restroom and a woman comes up to me, because that's where we women have our most important conversations, in the restroom. Anyway, she says to me, oh my gosh, your name is Star. That is so pretty. I looked her in the eye and with all my heart, I said, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Now, I did this because I wanted to feel better, and I did feel better. But what I noticed was she felt better. It was amazing. You just see her face just lit up, right? And she was just more excited. And that's when I realized that when you accept another person's gift, you are giving them a gift, right? Because we like to have our gifts accepted. It made her feel better that I just accepted it. So I invite you, next time someone compliments your expertise, do not undermine it. Just say thank you with your whole heart. All right. So those are the communication skills that I want to share with you in the time that we have. Right. So that's what we've talked about. That's what we've talked about, your confidence killers. So that's going to help you prepare with purpose. So we talked about acknowledging your backstory. We talked about mastering your inner message. And we talked about preparing with purpose. And that is how you begin to amplify your voice. Hey there.
Hey. Thank you so much for your expertise. I have so many notes, so many things I'm going to practice after this session. Real quick, will you share how we can reach you or how we can get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me. My name is Star Babatoon, as you see on the screen. And on all social, I am Star Babatoon. You can send me an email at star@starbabatoon.com. And if you would like to join me for additional training, you can go to speakerclinicwithstar.com. speakerclinicwithstar.com, because that is a place where people come, and I just teach different things about speaking. So there you have it, Star Babatoon on all of the socials, Star at Star Babatoon, or speakerclinicwithstar.com.
Thank you so much. Genius is coming, and I'll see you on the other side.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Join.
I was born and raised in southeastern West Virginia, the coal fields. My father was an AME minister. For me, I was very fortunate. Even though I grew up in the segregated South, I was surrounded by flourishing Black businesses. Doctors, lawyers, bankers, dentists. They were all there and they were all successful. And I guess that's part of my dream, is to see that success come back. My name is Joseph Simmons, and I am the founder of the Center for Micro-Entrepreneurial Training. We have this moment in time where we can change the trajectory of people. And our focus is on women, Black and brown entrepreneurs, and their access to capital, their ability to build thriving businesses, the ability to employ people. There's a study that showed that in those 3 communities, especially Black and brown communities, $1 stays in those communities for 30 minutes. In white community, $1 stays in their communities for 8 hours. So think about it. For you in a Black or brown community to get gas, to get food, to go to a restaurant, you've got to leave your community, take those dollars out of that community and take it to another community that's already being well served. So if we can reverse that, if we can go from 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, that's progress. That's what we need to do. I was with SCORE, and then in May of 2020, of course, the events happened in regards to the murder of George Floyd. The other thing that I was experiencing was the denials of federal funds for small businesses, and it revolved around one thing. These businesses were not being prepared for grants and for government programs. And I came up with the idea for the Center for Micro-Entrepreneurial based off those two things. Morgan Stanley had a report out in 2020, first quarter, and it talked about there were 3 groups that were massively devastated by COVID-19 on their business. That was 1, women, number 2, Black, and number 3, brown entrepreneurs. The research showed that they had less cash on hand, they had less opportunity to go into a bank and get money, and they were very dependent on family and friends to keep their business up and running. If we can focus on those 3 groups, then we can have a dramatic impact on our communities. Really, the focus is on 3 areas. And those 3 areas are 1, the people, number 2, the courses, and number 3, a support network. Here at CMAT, we will provide you with the fundamentals for generational success. And you will be creating a vibrant community by attending our 5-day immersive training course.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an experience like no other. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for The Mary D. Show, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. The Mary D. Show brings you powerful insights and inspiring stories from a diverse range of guests. Join our incredible host, Mary D. Welch, as she sits down with thought leaders, business owners, and changemakers, sharing their journeys and successes. From career professionals and entrepreneurs to educators and beauty advisors, Mary D. Welch interviews sports figures and health enthusiasts, offering a platform for extraordinary voices. Explore the world of extraordinary people and places in business and finance, homes and real estate, beauty and wellness, education and empowerment, sports and health, and more. Want to be a guest on the show? Call 619-669-8603 or email Mary at marydwelch.com. Visit www.marydwelch.com to learn more.
Welcome to Intentionality with Dominique, the show that helps business owners become valued and in-demand suppliers in the marketplace to scale their businesses. Let's start today's show with host and intentional connector, Dominique Simpson-Milton.
My favorite question to ask, but what would you say is the difference between working in your business versus working on your business?
Oh my goodness, it's a mindset for sure. And prior to working with the council and working with you, I don't even know that I placed as much emphasis and importance on it. But now I understand the importance of working on the business, which is that business development, strategic planning, taking that 30,000-foot view, every 6 months and definitely at least once a year to find out what's working well, what's not, pivoting if there's a need to pivot, adding new verticals. Like that's working on the business. Working in the business is the day-to-day operations.
Right. Putting out fires in the day-to-day, responding to emails, that type of thing. And working on the business is setting a strategy based on what's going on in your various industries. What are the trends, and making sure that you are doing the steps to stay in front of those trends.
As you grow and as you evolve, I'd say there are a couple of things to that. One is if you are in the weeds every single day, and quite frankly, when you start a business, there's not a lot of it's hard not to be, right? Because you're probably small when you start. There are probably not enough resources for the things that you have to do. That's normal. But as you grow and as you evolve, you start to understand that if your view is here, then you cannot gain the perspective to see all of the interrelationships and all of the opportunities and all of the strategic maneuvers that you should be doing in order to take grow your business in step functions as opposed to incremental.
Well, working in the business is doing everything. You wear all the many hats. Working on the business is finding out what hat you like and then being able to put in processes, systems, people that will help complement your skills.
Chasing the dollars, trying to make sure payroll is done, you have enough work to cover payroll and $2 or $3 in your pocket. The next thing you know, year after year, you're in a rat race. You never been trained to develop your business or to take it to another level.
As long as I can focus on where we are going, because no one else is doing that in the company except for me. So if I can see, here's where we're going, and I need all y'all, all 10 of y'all to come with me, then if we all do that together, then the business grows because everyone is focused on the thing they're supposed to be focused on. I
love that.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of business owners, particularly when you're just getting started, you're wearing multiple hats. I tell people all the time, I was always letter E, all of the above, when we used to fill in those multiple choice tests. And, you know, even now I still do a lot, but what is really great is that right now I'm in Richmond. My team back in Raleigh is handling everything. I don't have to pick up the phone. I don't have to check that email because I know that they can take on whatever is being thrown at them.
Take time to slow down in order to speed up. Invest in CVM SDC developmental programs each year to grow your business. Working in equals maintaining. Working on equals growth. Visit cvmsdc.org for more information on our development programs. Email us at info@cvmsdc.org.
You are a Black-owned business and you're looking for new ways to expand your reach. Or you're a creative and you have an amazing story that needs to be told, seen, and heard. Well, at Fave Unite TV, we're streaming the diverse and authentic narratives of Black American culture. At Fave Unite TV, you have access to product placement, feedback loops, promotional spotlights, and other ways to showcase your brand. And we have fans all around the world that can't wait to see what you're up to. So come to Fave Unite TV because we are showcasing the culture 24/7 with Black stories and Black storytellers. Subscribe to FaveUniteTV.com today. And for more information, email us at info@FaveUniteTV.com or call our hotline at 816-819-9939. Fave Unite TV, one of the largest platforms showcasing Black American content in the world.
How hard is it to land on the front cover of a top-tier global publication? The answer may surprise you. If you are a business owner, industry leader, speaker, author, or coach, this is your opportunity to get featured in a publication that reaches worldwide. We want to be able to tell your story, showcase your brand. We have made it so easy. All you have to do is answer a few questions and tell us a little bit about your business and we'll take care of the rest. But why get featured? One, it gives you massive exposure to a global audience. Two, it helps to boost your credibility and your authority in your industry. And three, it helps you to expand your network and unlock opportunities. Now, right now, we are offering a special limited time offer. You can be seen by over 10,000 viewers and readerships each month. So don't wait. This is your time to elevate your business and get featured. All you have to do is click the link below and get started today.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, innovator, or trailblazer, Tap In Magazine is where your voice gets amplified and your brand goes global. We've featured over 100 powerful leaders, and we're just getting started. Get seen in national publications, reach thousands of readers, and join a legacy of impact makers. This isn't just a magazine, it's a movement. With 700 plus online distribution channels, we give your story the visibility it deserves. Ready to turn the page on your next chapter? Tap In Magazine, where visibility meets legacy. Tap in now at tapinmagazine.com.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
Good day, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Jamila Burrell. I am your business moderator for this session on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. We will be hosting Joseph Simmons. Joseph A. Simmons is a retired pharmaceutical executive located in Orlando, Florida. Joseph started his sales career with Baxter Corporation, Johnson & Johnson, and Sunrise Medical, where he was promoted to an executive level position. He went on to Noel Abbott and Novartis Pharmaceuticals in several management positions. Joseph has founded the Center for Micro Entrepreneur Training, a nonprofit organization, in May 2020. I present to you Joseph Simmons.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
How you doing this morning?
I am well. I have my pen and paper ready for your knowledge and all your nuggets. And I have a few questions for you. Are you ready to answer?
Yes, ma'am. Let's go.
Okay. So, Joseph, you've been a leader in the entrepreneur space for 5 years. What personal or professional experience shaped your passion for building systems that support Black and Brown founders?
Well, I guess I have to start at the beginning. When I look back, I grew up in a segregated town. So this is 50s and 60s. And my father was a minister and my mother was a maid. But in my community, the smartest person was a Black person. The richest person was a Black person. The funniest person was a Black person. So I was in an environment of very successful people. My teachers knew my mother and father quite well. So there were expectations that were set on me. But my mother picked up very quickly that I had a taste for business. And so as a maid for this Jewish rabbi in Beckley, West Virginia, she would bring me home these business magazines or business papers. And my father, who was a carpenter and a mason, he built me a desk. So, Jamila, I would always pretend that I was a CEO and president of a company as a little boy. And my father put the desk in front of this window so I could look out. And I guess just because of their vision of what they wanted their son to be, and considering that, you know, my grandparents on my father's side were freed slaves from North Carolina. On my mother's side, they owned property, but they were still, my grandparents on that side were freed slaves. And so they lacked education, but they didn't lack vision for their children. They wanted all their kids to go to college. 4 out of the 5 kids all went to college. So expectations were high. And then just opportunities presented itself. As you saw from my resume, I had an opportunity to get into sales, but my sales career started very early as a child in that small town because unfortunately, you know, being poor, they couldn't afford certain things. So they would give me opportunities. Like I wanted a bike. So to get the bike, I had to sell greeting cards and I had to sell newspapers. So I learned very quickly how to use the brand of my father as a minister in the community to get access to get in the door and talk about greeting cards. And I learned very quickly about getting money. I knew that the miners were paid every 2 weeks and people on Social Security were paid at the end of the month. So I made sure to be there to get paid so I could get the bike. And at the end of the day, yes, I got the bike. But then fast forward, my whole career, I always took the opportunity to bring in people that looked like me into the organization. So whether it was at Novartis Pharmaceutical or whether it was at Sunrise Medical, if, for example, when I was promoted, the person that replaced me was Black. So I always try to bring in people that look like me into the organization because you just wanted to do that thing to pay back. So, and when I retired 3 times, the 4th time I was at SCORE, the mentor, and I noticed very quickly that for small businesses that were trying to get opportunities with PPP or EIDL, they just simply didn't have the quality. They just couldn't complete the application. They were missing certain key information. And so my mind from a sales background went to, okay, there's a problem. How can I solve this problem? And I just really got out a yellow legal pad and put together kind of a framework of a nonprofit. I knew what the workshop would look like. It would address the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. So that would be business planning, understanding financials, not financial literacy, but understanding cash flow, balance sheet, income statement, and pricing of your product. And then I knew that there had to be something in regards to target audience. You have to understand who you're selling to, where to sell to them, and your brand and focus. And then the last piece was sales. You've got to have a value and a value proposition. But the other thing that I wanted to make sure these entrepreneurs connected with was those key people. So throughout my 5-day, they're going to connect with an attorney, an accountant, a banker, insurance agent, cybersecurity, website design, and most importantly, business advisors. So that's kind of how I structured it. And I wanted to also give them value. There's a lot of business accelerators out there, but I wanted to kind of give it a brand of excellence. A lot of people think that you go through an accelerator, they feel like they're going to Dollar General. I want to make this customer experience one of going to Nordstrom's. And so through that, that's how I established CMED.
Mm-hmm. Now, I like how you said that your parents, they didn't have an education, but they had vision. Yes. So I feel like it's very important that we have a vision and that we work the vision. They didn't allow you just to just say, I want a bike, and they gave you the bike. They actually trained you to work for the bike. So I like that in your story, that it is important that we have a vision, but also to work the vision. Not just to sit there and look at the vision, but to work it.
But, the other thing that I think, and I was listening to a podcast of the late Richard Dick Parsons, who was a former executive he headed up American Express, and he also headed up AOL, and he also headed up the Clippers and took them through their situation. But he said something on his podcast that really resonated with me. And he said, there's a generation that grew up with expectations. Mm-hmm. And my parents set expectations for me that I would go to college and that I would be successful. I would have a better life than what they had. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's driven me for the past, 50 some years, is meeting those expectations of my parents. Even though my parents are no longer here, my expectation is to meet or exceed my abilities, competencies, and skills. And I've been given the opportunity to at least do that with my nonprofit organization and some of the businesses that I work for.
That's amazing. Expectation. I think we should pass that on to our youth, have expectations, put things in place, do better than what I did.
Yeah. And then give them, like you said, the vision, but then also give them the bandwidth to say, okay, this is how you go out and do it. Like I said before, my mother and father, my father is a minister. He would, put me in a situation where I had to get up on the pulpit and speak to the congregation. And as a young person, it was quite intimidating, and coupled with the fact that I stuttered at a young age, but he worked me through that. And to this day, I look back and say they really gave me the foundation to build on. And I can't say enough about the love I have for my mom and dad.
Mm-hmm. Your foundation is very important. What gap did you see in the ecosystem that led to the creation of CMED?
Wow. It was fundamentals. Everything boils down to fundamentals and execution and discipline. The organizations that I worked for all had that. When you think of Johnson & Johnson, it is one of discipline and execution. The pharma industry is nothing more than execution and discipline. You're given a marketing message on how to sell a drug. You do not deviate from that marketing message. You understand the fundamentals of reach, frequency, and focus. So when I look at Black and brown entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs, to give them that foundation, then also give them the ability to execute, to make sure they have the discipline to be successful. For example, with CMET, we've created a pathway to success. They come into the 5-day and they spend 5 days in regards to those basic fundamentals: business planning, understanding financials, branding, target audience, sales, and network. So they come into my 5-day, they finish that. Then they have the opportunity to move into a growth accelerator program, which is a 6-month program. We're now in phase 2 of that program, where we now have 20 some entrepreneurs that are either finished that process or they're in that process of growth. So they meet with a strategic advisor each month, and that gives them accountability, but most importantly, sustainability. The third pathway that they have is we're piloting a peer group where I've taken 3 entrepreneurs, and they have to be between $500,000 in sales revenue to $1 million in sales revenue. And I want to get them to 2 to 5 to 10. So that's a 6-month program we just launched, this month, 2 weeks ago. And what I like for that to become is one where we now have 3 to 5 peer groups. And these peer groups, Jamila, will be one of collaboration, partnership. They can sell to each other. They can do bids. They can do contracts. And so now I have an ecosystem of entrepreneurs that are building their businesses out. When I look at one of my habits in the morning, I get up at 5 and I watch Frank Holland on CNBC, and I'm always surprised that number one, he's Black, but he always makes it a point to have Black business people on for his hour. Now you go to the next segment, it's very rare that you'll see a Black person on Squawk Box in the morning. And my goal is to see more Black faces on Squawk Box in the morning, where they understand business and they're successful business people. They come in and talk about their first quarter earnings, their annual earnings. And I think that's the opportunity that we have to take advantage of.
Now, I heard you say discipline and execute, basically going through the different companies you worked with. Discipline and execute were the main things that you got out of it. So my question is, from your perspective, what are the top 3 challenges facing Black entrepreneurs today?
Easy. That's an easy one. I mean, number 1 is access to capital. Number 2 is not really have a true understanding of their target audience. Too many times when entrepreneurs come into our 5-day and you ask them who their target audience is, they'll say everybody.
Yeah.
Amazon's target audience isn't everybody. Johnson & Johnson's target wasn't everybody. They were very focused on that target audience. And I think the third thing is really having strong fundamental business. You need to have operations and a process in place that you can walk away from. I think it was doing the commercial breaks. One of the entrepreneurs was talking about, you should be able to walk away from your business for 6 weeks and not have to pick up the phone or not have to worry about it. So those are the kind of the 3 things as I look at the business environment for Black businesses or Black entrepreneurs, is that, you've got to have a true understanding of, what is access to capital? Is access to capital a loan? Is it a credit line? Is it funding? Do you really have a true understanding of what your needs are when you look at your balance sheet, when you look at your cash flow? What does your business need in regards to capital? Do you have a contract coming in from the VA, and that VA contract is going to be, for argument's sake, $10 million? Do you have the cash flow to pay that or hold on to that bill for 120 days and be able to maintain your business? Do you have a true understanding of who your target audience is? Do you have an understanding of what your message is? Do you know where they're at? How do you attract those people? And last but not least, what are your fundamentals? If I left CMET for 6 weeks, would CMET be able to survive those 6 weeks, or would I, So those are the things that to answer your question that I see.
So how does a person find their target audience? Because that is so true. I hear every time when I ask business owners, well, who are you targeting? And they say everyone. What would be the way to find your target audience?
Well, one of the easiest ways is there's this new thing called AI. So you could pop your business plan into AI, and AI can develop your target audience. It can develop your message. It can be your avatar. For example, for CMET's target audience is someone that looks just like you. It's going to be an African-American female. You're going to be between the ages of 25 to 45. You're going to either be an ideation, startup, or driving revenue, creating revenue. You're probably going to be in the Sun Belt and South areas. You're going to be from Virginia all the way over to Texas. Okay. That's kind of your target audience. What is your avatar? So when I say that, you kind of nodded your head and say, okay, I know what that looks like.
That is good information. So find your target audience. It's not everyone.
No.
There's a specific target audience for your business.
During my last cohort, one of the entrepreneurs she was a writer, and she wanted to publish her book, but her target audience was young African-American males. And I manage anywhere from 10 to 12 subject matter experts throughout the 5 days. And one of the subject matter experts said, okay, I can see your point, but wouldn't white kids also want to buy your books? And she gave the head nod. She said, I hadn't thought about that. So now when you look at your target audience, you also look at affordability. Yeah. Who can afford for example, let me give you Mercedes does not sell to low-income people.
True.
Right? So what's their target? Their avatar is you're going to need money. You're going to be of a certain strata. You're going to have a certain occupation. You're going to live in a certain cities. They don't have a Mercedes dealership in Dothan, Alabama.
True.
Right?
That's true.
But there would be a Walmart there.
Yes.
Because Walmart understands their target audience.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do structural barriers like access to capital or generational wealth continue to impact growth?
Oh, wow. If you look back at our history, unfortunately, with slavery, with segregation, with certain laws has had an impact in regards to access to capital, redlining. Our white counterparts were able to gain wealth by home ownership, especially when you look at the baby boomers. The soldiers that came home from World War II and the Korean War were able to get middle class homes. So now you've got a house that you can now use to capitalize a business, to go to college. So that's been a barrier. But I think the one thing that we've got to look at is there are opportunities to gain access to capital. Yeah. You've got to look at where the money is. So you look at your national banks, your regional banks, credit unions. You also look at CDFIs. Like in my area here in Orlando, we got BBIF. BBIF is also in Atlanta. So you look at that. So you've got to be creative, but you've got to be able to tell your story and be very passionate and focused and know, okay, who's listening and who will give me an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And you cultivate relationships. There was an entrepreneur in Tampa that I met at, we do a workshop called Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition Workshop. And we were talking about buying businesses. It's one thing to start a business, but it's another thing to buy a business. You as an entrepreneur can now buy a business because of baby boomers now exiting, and it's like $10 trillion of market value businesses out there. So you don't have to start a business because the failure rate for starting a business is very high. The success rate for buying a business is inverted. 70% of loans are done for a business acquisition. But to answer your question, you have to be able to have a business plan. You have to be able to kind of say, okay, what are my opportunities? Is there a market out there? And it's one of, there's money out there, but you've got to be able to network and find out where those opportunities are. And sometimes it might mean, Jamila, to work in a business, to learn about that business so you can start your own business. You know, so you might have to take a step back to take a step forward. And then I think the other things that we have to do is we have to get out of our own way in regards to the businesses that we want to start. You know, there's not a lot of opportunities for t-shirts. There's not a lot of opportunity for essential oils. God knows we don't need any more business consultants. We need scale. We need growth. So we need businesses that are building things and starting things. And we have to think through. I'm doing a business academy with an organization here in Orlando. And, you know, there's one person starting an app. There's one person going to do manufacturing of fruits and vegetables as ice cream. You know, those are going to be businesses that are going to hire people and be able to build out, and therefore the money will come back into the community.
Yeah.
So we've daycare. I mean, my God, you know, you think about, you know, daycare is probably one of the more profitable businesses to start or buy. You're going to max out probably around $1 million to $2 million in regards to daycare if you run it appropriately. So I say there's opportunity out there. There's always, I mean, you think about what my father and mother went through and what your grandparents went through in regards to barriers. And here we are, you know, doing what we're doing. But it took a commitment. It took discipline. It took taking advantage of opportunities. I start out one of the workshops with, what is luck? Yeah. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So are you prepared to start a business? You know, it's one thing to say, I want to start a business, but are you prepared to start a business? Does your spouse or partner understand what it takes to start a business? Are you around people that have started a business? Is your network full of people that have started business successfully? What do you read? Do you read business magazines? Do you watch Bloomberg or do you watch CNBC? You know, that's commitment. That you understand what you're getting into and you understand the journey.
Commitment, preparation are some key words that I heard. And a lot of times we just jump out there. I want to start a business, no preparation, or I want to start a business and we don't go and learn about the business that we want to start. So I like how you said maybe we need to go in and work in a company or in a situation where we can learn about the business that we want to do. I think that's very important to have that preparation and not be so prideful that we don't get the help that we need.
You know, I always tell entrepreneurs, business is like learning a language. If you're going to go to Mexico or France or Nigeria, you have a better way of assimilating if you understand the language.
Yes.
Business has a language. We have to understand what it means by EBITDA. We have to understand what cash flow is. What is good cash flow? You know, when do I get a loan? You know, there's a whole language that you really need to know in regards to being a successful business person.
Yeah.
And then the most important part is that commitment of the people around you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, fortunately for me, my wife understood when we were dating that I wanted to be in management and that required travel. So it wasn't a surprise when I was leaving on a Monday and coming back on a Thursday night. The expectation was already there. So she already understood what that journey was going to be like.
Yeah. Now, from everything we said, what misconceptions should be challenged when it comes to supporting Black-owned businesses?
Repeat that question again.
What misconceptions should be challenged when it comes to supporting Black-owned businesses?
I think for us, by us should have a connotation of high standards and quality.
Yes.
And I think if you look at certain, I mean, there's a gentleman that's been on this the Black Business Network, Dr. Jimmy Davies, and he talks about these two Black entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I was aware of Reginald Lewis. I was aware of John Johnson, who started Jet Magazine, but he educated me in regards to business excellence. And the one entrepreneur started his business, and I think he was generating in the 30s and 40s about almost $40 million in revenue. He had his own plant. He had salespeople of about at least 5,000 salespeople. And I want you to think about this. This is in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And Novartis that I worked for at our peak, we had 8,000 field force. So you can see 5,000 in the 30s and 40s versus 8,000 in the aughts, 2000s. I mean, that was amazing. They had their own plants, they had their own chemists. So his employees, I mean, was a major corporation. Fast forward, there's an individual in North Carolina that was doing this. He did $18 million, but they were also bringing up, they had high standards, high quality. They had their own ecosystem. So I think when you look at, again, going to the beginning of our conversation, the expectation is if I buy from a Black business, I'm not sacrificing anything. I'm getting a Mercedes just like I would if I got a Mercedes from a white entrepreneur. If I walk into a store, the store should have the same look of Nordstrom's or Macy's as it would anywhere else. When you look at some of the successful business out there, their standards have always been high in regards to what they do and how they do it. That's how they become successful, through making sure they understood their target audience, but they also provided value. There was a value out there. And I think that's what any business owner wants to say about his product, is that there's value with what I bring to the marketplace.
There's value to what I bring to the marketplace.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. Because there's a lot of misconceptions that when I buy Black, I'm going to have attitude. When I buy Black, I'm not going to get value. But it's amazing that you said it's value that we're bringing.
Yeah. And I think you have to, when I designed CMET, I looked at the organizations that I work with. So I want to make sure it had the look of a J&J. It had the look of a Novartis. It had that scale of value that people understood. And to this day, entrepreneurs will always walk up to me, or they'll say it on the last day, I had no idea the quality of knowledge, access to people that I had over the 5 days, or even with the workshops that we do, because I bring them value, and there's no substitute for that.
No value, no substitute for value.
No, you can't, there's a difference between value and cheap.
Well, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit more about CMET. CMET has trained over 400 entrepreneurs through various cohorts. What's the core philosophy behind your training model?
Preparation for success is our mission. So I want to make sure that, I always go back to the fundamentals. The 5-day is really a fundamental entrepreneur workshop. They're going to spend 2 days on target audience, messaging, and value proposition. They're going to leave with a true understanding financials. So they're going to go through cash flow, balance sheet, and income statement. But Jamila, one of the key things that we do in the afternoon is talk about pricing for profitability. Because one of the things I've noticed through the 25 workshops that we've done over the past almost 5 years is that when I ask you what your price is, if you hesitate, you really don't have a true understanding of what your value is. True. And that's a challenge for us in a community, is that we do hesitate. If you tell me your price, your consulting is $550 a month, an hour, there should be, well, I can give you that for $400 if I sit here and be quiet, well, I can do it $300. The price keeps coming down, the price keeps coming down. But if you know what your cost is and you know what the value that you bring to the marketplace, you can sit there with confidence and say, you know, Joseph, my consultation fee is $5.50 an hour. Now, are you ready to sign up? If I say no, not at this time, then you don't start backing up. Well, what if I do it for $300? What if it's $5.50? Because I've reached my target audience. My target audience understand the value through my messaging, right?
Yeah.
And there's a comfort level in regards to the relationship we have. So that's what I try to establish during the 5-day. The Growth Accelerator program is a 6-month program. So they're going to consistently keep moving their business forward, but coaching and accountability. And then when they move in the peer group is one where they're true CEOs, where they're looking for opportunities to scale their business, where they want to be a $2 million business, a $5 million business, where they've got 10 to 12 employees as designated by the Small Business Administration. That's what we do at CMET.
Wow. I like that, where you say, know your value.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so when you say the price, then there's no backing up because you know what you offer. You know your value.
Yeah. My father used to always make the statement, you know, he said, if you bought a Cadillac, if you went in to buy a Cadillac, you don't ask about gas mileage because you can afford it. Right? It's the same thing when you know your target audience, there's no haggling over price. Right?
That's true.
I mean, when you go to a nice restaurant, there's no, well, the menu says $14, but can you really give it to me for 10?
Do you have a coupon?
Yeah. Yeah. BOGO.
Now, can you share a specific success story from one of your recent graduates that speak to transformation and scale?
I would say there would be 2. The first one is a publisher, and she is a single mother with 2 kids, but she always had a yearning for writing. And she wrote a book early, and she came to CMET basically almost on her last legs in regards to where her business was. But she was able to, after the first cohort, she's been able to get a contract with the school district. She's been able to get 2 contracts with NFL players to do autobiographies. She's now looking to add a salesperson or 2 salespeople. She now has her own office that she's now working out of her house. So that's one instance of someone that's come through the program. I can give you another instance where an entrepreneur was in the program, and she said, Joe, I need to step. It was day 2, and day 2 is all about our financials. And she said, Joe, I need to step away for a couple of hours in the afternoon. I said, no problem. It's all Zoom, so you can always watch the recording. And she came back around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and she said, Joe, guess what? After going through the financial part, I looked at my financials and I called up my banker, and she was able to get a credit line. They say, oh yeah, with your numbers and what she sent over. So within 2 hours, she's able to get a credit line. So those are 2 examples of someone that's gone through the program and had success. So it's very enriching to see dreams come true, but not only dreams, they become reality. One, just the opportunity. One is doing ice cream, and now she's going through that whole thing of taking this ice cream dream. And we're going to meet in Tampa because she's going to see about manufacturing, how to manufacture for scale. So yeah, it's been quite a pleasant. It's been fulfilling. My father was always building these churches, so I guess part of my DNA is to kind of see these things be built out and have a smile on my face, like you've got the smile on your face.
Yes. Building. I like how you pour into the next generation and you teach them how to know their value.
Yeah.
And then not only know your value, but you gain from knowing your value. You gain financially.
And even through the entrepreneurship through acquisition, which we just started last year, we've done 5 programs so far, and we've got 8 entrepreneurs that are looking to buy a business. So that's even something else that's even more important, because now, they jumpstart. They are now buying $1 million business. So they have scale, they have that. So that's an opportunity. I mean, you think about I think they said Black businesses represent $7 trillion in market value, but baby boomers that are selling their business represent 10. So if we can pick off 10% of that, that is just a game changer for us as a community, is to go in and do that. And it's also, for my way, as my buddies say, I'm kind of petty when it comes to certain things. So there's a person in the White House that I would like for us to kind of snub our nose at, to say, you know, we can do things our way and then take over your businesses.
True. Now, why is entrepreneurship through acquisition such a critical strategy for closing the racial wealth gap?
As I just said before, there's baby boomers their businesses represent $10 trillion in market value.
Yes.
We only represent $7 trillion. So when you do the math, if we can get 10% of that, that just moves the wealth gap easier. And I want the entrepreneurs on this network to think about it. Yeah. When you buy a business, you buy customers, you buy operations, processes. But the most important thing that you buy is a salary. When you start a business, it's all bootstrapping. You don't have a salary sometimes for 2 years. One of the funders told me, said, Joe, 70% of our small business loans are for business acquisition. They're not for startups. They're not for business creation. And this is a national bank.
Yeah.
So as my father used to always tell me this joke, he said, why do people rob banks? Because that's where the money is. So why should we spend our, and again, if you have an idea, then definitely go down that path and start a business. But if you're someone that's worked in the corporate world, like a friend of mine did, and you look across the table and you see mediocre people and you say, I will not be able to get above them because of the caste system,
yeah,
I'm gonna need to think about buying a business. And that's what one of my associates in pharma did. He retired from a national position in pharma. He bought an all-state franchise, and this is 4 years ago. He now has 2 franchises, and he's looking to buy a third because of acquisition. So he's able to understand the dynamics of the numbers, but he's also able to scale. And as I said earlier in the conversation, Reginald Lewis has a book that says, why should white guys have all the fun? And that's exactly what my attitude is. Why should they have all the fun when it comes to buying? Private equity now is buying home services, lawn service, sprinkler systems, HVAC, repair businesses. Why? Because they're cash-rich businesses. So why can't we buy those businesses, scale them up, utilize our talents, and build out, and have an impact on our community? If you buy a $5 to $8 million business, your salary is roughly going to be $350,000 to $250,000 to $350,000 a year. You're going to have 10 employees. It changes how we're looked at. It just changes dramatically how we're now taken serious. The best headline would be, why are Black folks buying these businesses? Because they're going to be primarily white businesses. Why are Black folks buying white businesses? And we can do it. But we've got to get through that thing of fear and know that there are opportunities out there, and people will walk you through those opportunities for success. So that's why I believe, I've got a workshop for ETA in 2 weeks in Jacksonville, because I think that is a way for us to be successful, and it gets us on Park Avenue a lot quicker. And why not us?
Why not?
Yeah.
Now, what advice would you offer to a young entrepreneur who feels unseen or underestimated?
Success has a way of making you being seen and heard, and it gives you a seat at the table. But it's not overnight. You got to have a plan, whether it's utilizing AI to plan out your success or your journey, whether it's being around people that are successful. I mean, I heard this a couple of weeks ago, and it's true. It said, look at your circle of 5 people. If the 5 people that you're around aren't at a certain level economically, guess what? you're in the wrong circle. So make sure, I mean, for example, our peer group that we launched, the facilitator of that peer group, he ran $100 million business. So he understands what it's like to build a business from scratch to $100 million. If someone's only built a business to $500,000, they can't help you get to 10 million or 20 million. But if somebody does, so make sure you surround yourself with people that have the same ideals in regards to where you want to be. And the other thing I think you have to have the ability to say no. It's a powerful word that you got to learn to use. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do that. Because as an entrepreneur, you're always going to have these shiny objects that keep circling around you and in your iframe going, you know what, if you go down this path, no. If you're disciplined and you have a plan, you execute it and you put yourself through that grind. Not every day is going to be a great day. I know, why is Southwest Airlines so successful? My wife and I were talking, we were watching their commercial where they're now having, assigned seats. When you think about where they started and where they're at now, I mean, they've outlived TWA, Pan Am, Eastern Airlines, US Air. Just go through the Northwest. They've gone. Why? Because they had a plan. They knew their target audience. They executed flawlessly, right? And they never got distracted by, oh, let's fly to London. No, 737s don't fly to London. Let's go to Japan. No, let's have first class. No, it's a subway. You get on, you get off. It's going to get you there on time. Your bags are going to be. I mean, that's their that's their message. Yeah. No frills. I mean, they don't serve you steak. You get what? Chips, water, and a soda. That's it. So as a young entrepreneur, I would say, execution, discipline, and commitment. And then make sure you surround yourself with those people that are successful, that are going to lift you up, but also hold you accountable.
Excellent advice. I want to thank you so much for coming today. I want to thank you for sharing your expertise. If you would like to share, how can we get in touch with you? How can we take one of the classes? We would like to know that information.
Not a problem. To take one of our next EBA, Entrepreneur Business Accelerate, all these acronyms, I apologize in advance for that. But our next Entrepreneurial Business Accelerator starts on August 18th. You can simply go to our website, which is T like Tom, C like Charlie, M like Mary, E like Edward, T like Tom.org. That's tcmet.org, and register for our upcoming class. If you're in the Jacksonville area, we have an Entrepreneurship Through Acquisition workshop on August 14th. But again, you're more than welcome. I look forward to seeing you on August 18th, virtually. That's the beauty of CMET. We're a virtual platform.
Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K through 12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. Please, you may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App at $BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. Please donate to the Black Business Expo USA Scholarship Fund.
At www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Hi, I'm Barbara H. Smith. Genius is common. My genius is executive coaching and professional corporate training. As the master executive coach and corporate training ambassador for the Genius is Common movement, I help business owners craft their stories in such a way that you know exactly what they do, what they have, and what they bring to the table. Many times as business owners, we are asked, so what do you do for a living? And we could be crushing in our businesses, but we're not quite sure exactly what to say in a short amount of time. Well, I help you take those stories that are the reason why you're in business and why you're so passionate about your business and craft them in such a way that people are drawn to you as opposed to being repelled by you. Because every conversation, every time you talk to someone about your business, you are excited about it. But are you really conveying what you do, what you have, and what you bring to the table? And do really people understand why you care so much and why they should care that you have the solution to their problem? Well, I'm here to help you with that. As a master storyteller, I can help you with your stories and spin them in such a way that they are intriguing and fascinating. People want to listen to you talk about your business. That's why at the Genius is Common movement, I am the master executive coach and professional training ambassador. That's my genius. And genius? Oh yeah, it's common.
See, being in business, regardless if you're a non-business or any type of business, is about connecting. It's about hearing new information that can drive you forth. It's more about coming together with people with like minds in order to make your business grow.
You don't wake up wanting to be mediocre and just do just enough. You want to excel. You want to be a master in your craft. You want to take it to the next level. So it's not going to happen by accident. So you have to be mindful and think of what can I do today to help take me to the next level.
The truth is, your life will only change when you get new information. Your life will only change when you move forward with another level of thinking. This expo is about new information to move your life to another level.
The Black Business Expo is changing my life. This year, they are giving away laptops and even $5,000 in cash to students just like me. I'm Alexis, and I want to go to college to fulfill my dream of becoming an entrepreneur. Help the Black Business Expo going to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com and also becoming a vendor, a sponsor, or donating.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Good afternoon, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Angela Baptiste. I am your business moderator for this afternoon on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business networking showcase. We showcase Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa,
Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. So we would like to introduce, welcome Alan Thornton.
Hi, how you doing today, Angela? Pleasure to be here.
Hi, Alan. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So great to have you. And it's such a pleasure to have you to come and share with our community. So we're looking forward to whatever you're going to share with us today.
Absolutely. Got a lot to share. You tell me where to narrow it down, so I'm not
You go ahead and just share with the community, and I'll come back in when it's time for you to close out.
Angela, you leaving me already? We just got here. It's all good. Thank you to your host and to our moderator so much. I appreciate Dr. Kelly for having us and for creating this platform. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alan Thornton. I am the founder and the CEO of the 40 Acre Conference, which is the largest conference in the world on MLK and Juneteenth. And we were so gracious to have Dr. Kelly and to be streamed on the Black Business Network, our very first conference, and looking forward to doing some big things here in the near future. So there's three things that I want to go over today. And like I told Angela, like a pastor, I won't be long. So I'm going to hit these 3 points expeditiously. And then I know I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch. So I'll make sure that there is value within this message. So number one is something that I was taught when I was real young. Before I go through that, just give you a little bit about my background. So I grew up in West Texas, in El Paso, in Fort Bliss. Most people know it's the westernmost point of Texas. My mom is from New York. My dad is from New Orleans. You may hear a little twang in my voice. So I like to tell people I have the best of both hustles. I grew up as an entrepreneur family. My mother and father both were entrepreneurs. Growing up, I was always looking for ways to generate revenue, generate income, and add value to people. One of my first businesses was pulling weeds 2 for 25 cents. I learned at a very young age that if you don't charge for your time, but if you charge for your value, you can make a lot more. And some of my clients realized that too. And they said, well, why don't you just charge per hour like all the other kids? Because the barrier to entry I know was low. I used to charge weeds 2 for 25 cents, which sounds, doesn't sound like a lot of money. They just said, hey, go out, right? If you say, hey, I'm charging $10 an hour, right? They have to kind of think about it. 2 for 25 cents. Okay, knock yourself out. Then I'd bring a wheelbarrow full of weeds and probably charge double what all my friends were making hourly. So I say that to say, when you are looking to do something, charge for the value and not for the time. Something that I learned at a very young age. And even now, and I'll tell you about a project that we're working on. And with Dr. Kelly, I'm very excited about providing more value. And he is too, because he said, hey, I want to be part of that value. I know he's backstage saying that. But charge for your value and not for the time, because time is, it's our most limited and precious resource. So we have to guard it. And if we learn how to really gauge and to charge for the value, because we only have so much time, right? But if we charge for the value, we can outsource some of the things that we need to do to bring that value. And that's true business ownership. That's where we want to be. We don't just want to be trading our time for money. Number two is, and I know I'm going through this fast, but I'm going to wrap it all up at the end. I'm going to tell you, I told you, I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you what I told you. just so you can remember it right before you're eating that big steak at lunch, because I know I'm talking to a bunch of valuable entrepreneurs here. So the next thing is you can beat 50% of people in life just by doing this one thing. So my grandfather, he was in the Army, Master Sergeant in the Army, very disciplined individual. And a lot of my family were very, I would say, if you know the military brand, very assertive. And sometimes that assertive gets misconstrued for aggressive, although sometimes it can be. But if you really remember, you can beat 50% of people in life just by showing up. And I remember all the time, and I don't know if some of you are big fans, but I'm a big Coach Prime fan. I wore number 2 and number 21 playing growing up, but he's been just an incredible coach as well. And I saw a reel by him the other day, and it says, hey, people may not be talking about you, right? But keep on making plays. Your name may not be in the headlines, but keep making plays. You may not be making and winning that championship today, but keep making plays. What he's saying is keep on showing up. Regardless of who recognizes you, you got to recognize your wins and keep on finding a way to wake up and to come back to that thing every single day, because it'll compound, and that hard work will eventually, everybody say eventually, type it in the chat, eventually, right? Yeah, I'm keeping some of you from being asleep. Type in eventually. Eventually that hard work will pay off if you keep on showing up. I'll give you a real life example. And this is with Dr. Kelly on our conference. When we first started our conference, and we just completed our 4th conference, and which is astounding, by itself. And we celebrate those little wins, even though they become big accomplishments. When we first started our conference, and I'll tell you the story of all 4, we had this big idea to bring together government officials, to bring together celebrities, to bring together influencers, and to help mentor and sponsor the next generation, kids 8 to 18. Now, on the surface, it had never been done before. And I'll give you the back history. When George Floyd died back in 2020, this is why it's important to show up. There was a renewed focus on the Black community, right? There was a lot of corporations that said, look, I want to give $1 million. It started like an auction, right? I want to give $1 million. I want to give 500 million. I want to give $1 billion. I want to give, do I hear 20 billion, 30 billion? And unfortunately, less than 3 years later, less than 7% of that money has actually been dispersed. Now, math is my best subject, and that doesn't add up. But history is something that I really enjoy. And back in 2020 and 2021, it sounded a lot to me like the promise of 40 acres and a mule, right? A promise that was not fulfilled. Thus, we called our conference the 40-acre conference, and not to harp on errors of the past, but really to pick up and partner with new disciplines for the future. So we partnered with a lot of different corporations to give them a way to disperse, right? To partner and to find an ROI on that money, and especially deploy it into the Black community. And whenever you try to do something great, there's going to be a lot of obstacles in your way. So going to that story, we went to Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? I want to be, anything I do, I want to go all in. It's my name, right? For those of you that don't know, ALL-EN. Some of y'all get that on the way home. So I went to Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I met a few people along the way. Now, this was the centennial of the race massacre. It's the only time in American history to that time that Americans bombed other Americans. Black Wall Street was the most thriving Black community and the mecca of group economics at that time. It was a community where you had the biggest, the largest, most luxurious hotels, the Stratford Hotel, O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford, right? This is before Marriott, before Hilton. They put all those things together, and they had barbershops, they had dentists, they had lawyers, they had theaters, everything and it was growing. They had banks. And unfortunately, due to greed and racism, that whole area ended up getting bombed. But it started with a couple gentlemen making a decision saying, you know what, we're not going to get our 40 acres and a mule. So let's go start our own thing, and let's create, and let's partner, and let's build, and let's thrive. And it's exactly what they did. So I wanted to go to ground zero of this. And in 2021, and it's centennial, and it's ironic because it was raining as well. And we went to a couple of churches. I met a few people. And I knew them in the past in passing. Sheila Jackson Lee was doing a talk. I remember when I first walked into the Greenwood Cultural Center. I remember there was a bunch of media there, but specifically out of the corner of my eye, I remember seeing Roland Martin, who was doing interviews with a bunch of the celebrities and a couple of survivors, which I had ended up meeting as well. And during this time, we had left and gone to like this little influencer summit for some influencers that were doing a special called Market Monday on Black Wall Street. And I met a few gentlemen named Rashad, Troy, and Ian. They call themselves Earn Your Leisure. Now they tour around the world. They have the #1 Black platform in the world in Black podcast and financial literacy platform. And I met a gentleman named Hill Harbor, right? Famous Black actor who was launching his Black Wall Street app that day. Was one of the first users. So this is back in 2021, about 2 years ago. And during that time, I had let them know, look, I want to do something great. And they didn't know who I was. And they had a pretty good following, had a couple 100,000 people on their platform, which now, well over 1 million, close to 2 million, and sell out buildings around the world in Madison Square Garden, Prince Albert Hall in London, in Egypt, wherever they go. And I remember them talking during their podcast and saying that they were going to hold a conference. And there were some people that told them not to do it. They mentioned that, right? They said, hey, you guys are YouTubers, you're stick in your lane, just stay where you are. Don't go bigger. I mean, you got a good thing going here. So they said, nah, we see something bigger. We're going to do this, and we're going to do it in the next 90 days. And in that moment right there in Black Wall Street, I gained some belief. And here's why, because a few gentlemen, just like 100 years before them, made a decision, right, that they were going to do something great. And now, 90 days later, just fast forwarding the story, they held InvestFest in Atlanta. And if you look on our social media, you can see that picture in that small barbershop in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's less than 50 people. And during that time when they said that, I said, you know what? You hold your first conference. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have a VIP ticket. I'm going to support y'all. And one day in the future, I threw it out there. I'll do a conference and hopefully you guys can pull up as well. And they said, yeah, no doubt. Right. But they made a decision and they took action. I showed up in Atlanta 90 days later and saw over close to 5,000 people in the Georgia World Conference Center. And at that time, people couldn't tell me anything, right? Because I had seen gentlemen who, granted, had a much bigger platform than I did, but I've seen them make a decision and decided to show up and decided, regardless of the outside noise and the voices around me, we're going to make this happen. And I saw them execute it, which was phenomenal. So for there, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do a conference too. And 90 days later, not only was it the name, the 40 Acre Conference, we actually held our first conference, right? And we had, close to 100 speakers. And that was right when COVID, we had a much grander vision to rent out this huge space. There was a resurgence of COVID. They canceled the parade here in Houston. It went virtual and some other things. People told me to cancel it. People told me not even to do it. Believe it or not, even though and I'll say this on the Black Business Network, I got more flack from my own community, right? The Black community, and putting on a conference for the Black community. So sometimes the people that are closest to you are going to be your biggest obstacles, right? Or the people that you're trying to do things for are going to be your biggest hurdles and your biggest obstacles. But I'd already seen it. So there's something, when you see something, you can't unsee it. Once your mind is expanded, it can never conform. So I already had heard the naysayers tell a few other gentlemen, hey, don't do it, stay in your lane, do your thing. But I saw the product of it happening, and I visualized that for myself because I'd seen it done. And we did it, and we held the conference. And I'll tell you why it's important to show up. So we did this conference, and it was absolutely incredible. Hill Harper was actually one of our first celebrity speakers. We had a billionaire on there. We had a bunch of we did a fashion show. You know, we did and a bunch of people told me too, hey, stick to one thing. Just do speakers, don't do all these other things. And I said, forget that. We did everything. And the incredible thing is a week later, I got a call, and thanks to the Black Business Network, we streamed to over 200 countries, right? Continue to show up. And I got a call from the presidential cabinet in Africa, specifically the Congo. And they said, hey, we would love for you to come to Africa, right? Eventually I got it and I hung up. Y'all ain't gonna get me, right? I've seen this episode before. You ain't gonna get me on a scam. But then they called again and again and again, sent me some paperwork that said diplomatic visa. I told them I didn't have a passport. They told me show up to this place. I had a passport in 6 hours. And in less than 48 hours, I was on the plane, a private plane to Kinshasa, which is the capital of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And when I landed, I was treated literally like a king, right? There were certain checkpoints and other things that I went around. We had a full police escort the whole time. I got to stay in a 5-star hotel. And something important, you never want to stop showing up, because whatever you're doing, there are other people's destiny that are connected to your purpose. And if you don't fulfill that purpose, you're going to be blocking blessings from other people. And once I got into that, I had a bit of, and I'll share this with you. I had a bit of imposter syndrome when I was there, because I was going and I see all these different people, and I'm right. There's 18 million people in Kinshasa, and I'm riding around in a police escort in this armored limo, and I'm like, how did I get there? And who do they think I am? Right? Clearly, I don't belong here. Like, what do I have? We talked about value. What do I have that these people really want? Because I'm thinking about, like, and even Dr. Kelly would tell you, he said, I don't know, man. I don't know about, Africa. And I was thinking, what do I have of value that they really want? And we went to what I call, right, have somewhat of a sense of humor, the Black House, right? It's the equivalent of the White House in Kinshasa. But I was sitting at a table, and I was with the Minister of Finance. I was with the Minister of Health. I was with the general, right, who heads all the defense of the country. At the head table, this table. And at the head table, the president is, now African time is real. This is funny. It started at 7, and he got there like at 11. but they gave us plenty of the biggest spread you've ever seen, like you see in the movies, right? Biggest African spread, all the food, all the drinks you can get. He shows up at 11. We don't care because we're having a good time in the Black House. And I was advised not to drink at all, but hey, I'm gonna have a good time if this is how this is how it ends. But we had a very good time out there, and I'm sitting at this table, and again I'm like, how did I get there, and what do I have of value to bring? Because it's not my time. And I learned, remember the first point, I learned very early, you don't charge for your time, you charge for the value that you bring, right? Because at that point, I didn't believe my time was worth that much, but the value and what the unique mechanism that I was bringing to them, they felt no one else could bring. So here's what the value that they saw. They saw they were trying to, and still have a big initiative, to create an African-American Descendants Day. Because most of Kinshasa, especially downtown, especially all those different places, all the places that hold most of the wealth in that town and that large city, is not owned by Africans or African Americans, less than 5%, right? Which is astounding. I didn't even believe it when I got off, and the gentleman who brought me there, who helped me get there, he said, look, I'm gonna take you to a 5-star hotel, the best hotel in Kinshasa. When you step in the lobby, you are going to be me and you are gonna be the only Black people there. I couldn't believe it. I said, man, there's no way. It's 18 million people here, right? 90%, we're in Africa. But when I stepped in that lobby, only me and him, and I looked around and I sat there, big 35-foot ceilings, marble floors, huge granite and ivory tops. I mean, the most astounding, like a scene from Coming to America, with no Black people. There were Middle Eastern people there, Eastern European, a bunch of Lebanese people, a bunch of Asians, specifically Chinese. And he said, what people will do is they will come here, stay in a nice hotel like this, show you the worst part of Africa, right? So you'll never come here. And then they make millions and billions of dollars on the diamond mines, on the coltan mines. Africa is it is the richest country in the world when it comes to natural resources. And we don't own most of them. And they saw that I was able to put together a conference, right? And by any means, wasn't the best, wasn't perfect, but it was done, and we finished. And they saw that from hundreds of thousands of miles away and brought us there because they thought, they knew, right? And I know now that that's the value that we brought. And they saw that to bring me halfway around the world and continue to do things for that. So that's continue to show up. The third point is done is better than perfect, right? So many people wait until they have their ducks in a row. And I remember one of my favorite speakers growing up was Les Brown. And this brings me to my next point in my conference. We were able, when I met Sheila Jackson Lee there, and this all stems back from that time in Tulsa, Oklahoma, she talked about something that was to this point impossible, about making Juneteenth a federal holiday. And to this point, there hadn't been a federal holiday in 40, 50 years since MLK, right? And creating a Black holiday, there's gonna be a lot of rocks thrown at you. But when we left Tulsa, Oklahoma, also in less than 90 days later, right, because that was May 31st, Juneteenth was a federal holiday. And during that time, that next conference, that next year, we established the Juneteenth Hall of Fame, and we own it with a stamp, none other than Sheila Jackson Lee, right? The person who pushed that bill forward and authored that in Congress. So we own the Juneteenth Hall of Fame, and I say that going back to Les Brown because I was able to honor him and give him an award, one of my mentors from afar. And I had the opportunity to meet him in Atlanta at that conference that I told you about that Earn Your Leisure did in the VIP place. And the next year I was able to honor him with the Juneteenth Hall of Fame award, right? In the form of the diamond, right? Because pressure makes diamonds, and it all came back, the diamond mines that we saw in Africa and the natural resources, right? There's a lot of, everything that we do is on purpose. And we established the Juneteenth Hall of Fame. Going fast forward, because I know I'm about to get the Apollo hook, kept on going. 6 months after that, the same guys that had no idea who we were in that small room in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we're able to honor them, bring them in, and Earn Your Leisure was at our 40-acre conference, playing golf with us, right? Having drinks with us at our award ceremony. And we've been able to, we had 19 keys there. We had billionaire Mike Roberts, right? More millionaires and billionaires that have a big initiative, went on a world tour. So done is better than perfect, right? Les Brown says, whatever you have, go with it right now. You know, I don't even have shoes on. It don't matter. You got to go with what you got right now. And we were able to capitalize on that and keep on going. And in this last one, we established the Juneteenth Freedom Festival where we extended things because we went from 7 events. We did 40 events in 4 days. Then we did 40 events in 4 days. We just did 100 events in 10 days, everywhere from $1 million panels to fashion shows to chess competitions to coding competitions to a course golf competitions to a health fair where we fed 1,500 people with the Houston Food Bank to of course, our Juneteenth Hall of Fame. And billionaire Mike Roberts came in, and the initiative is big. And there was a gentleman who, and people outside of our community have helped us the most, believe it or not. They've sponsored more things than anybody in the Black community. And I had this vision to do like upgrade our production. And there was this gentleman with OmniSpace 360. Now, this is 4 or 5 days before the conference. And I saw the screen. It's like a dome set up, interactive 360 domes. What I found out later is this same gentleman does all the, if you remember, and everybody has seen this, if you have watched the Super Bowl, and you see all the lights and you see all those big domes that usually a big entertainment or a big company rents out to do a party at the Super Bowl, right? These are the people that do that. They have all the contracts to do that, and they've done it for the last 10 years. And I showed him a big vision, and he said, I like it. And in less than 48 hours, they built us a 65-foot screen, right, at where we held our conference. And it was interactive. It was 10-foot high, 60. We threw an interactive fashion show. We established our first film festival. And then the night before, in Sheila Jackson Lee's speech, which if you want to follow us, you can follow us at 40 Acre Conference. You can see this iconic speech, and she's running for Houston mayor now. And she talks about bringing entertainment and bringing film and bringing a lot innovative fashion and new types of venues. She talked about all these different things. And those are things that we had already been thinking about and we're already going to perform in the next few days. And she talked about bringing Tyler Perry here. She talked about and commended us, which was I'm eternally grateful for, on our vision, and said, look, I can see y'all having your own show, having your own studio, having your own entertainment venue, right? And those words stuck with me because I know that nothing happens by happenstance, right? Everything happens for a reason, and God will align people in your life to help you fulfill your purpose and your gifts. They'll make room for you. And everybody came here to do something. So done is better than perfect. And one of the things during that time after that, right? Similar, it always happens after a conference, something happens. That's why done is better than perfect. You got to continue to show up. And remember, don't charge for your time, charge for your value. So yesterday, we were in a room in a new development, right? And I got flashback from Black Wall Street, because there's a big company here, and they are doing a big development. And this is happening all over the US. It's not just Houston. They're doing a big development. And in this big development, they bought a bunch of land in a Black community, brought a bunch of, right, not kicked, they don't call it kicked out. We gravitated people to a different, whatever political answer they used. A few days before that, I met with that same company. Every single conference this happens, some type of out of this world opportunity comes up. And they said, look, Alan, we really loved them. We really enjoyed doing that conference with you. Now, these are the same people that do the Super Bowl. These are the same people that do they own a big dome in Las Vegas. These are the same people that built, and this screen, you'll have to see it. Look it up. Follow us on Instagram. This is probably a $50,000 production setup that they sponsored, right? Because they like the vision. And they came to me and they said, Alan, look, I don't know. We've been turned down in multiple cities to build this, to build a dome. We want to build like the world's largest entertainment venue. And I saw your vision, and we would love to, I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'd love to partner with you. And I said, okay. And I made a couple, they said, we want to do this. We want to have some type of social impact. You seem like you know how to do some of that. Let's see what this looks like. Here's what we're thinking. It aligns with some of the things that you're thinking. I made a couple calls, and we ended up in this community meeting yesterday. And in this community meeting, the people of that community in Fifth Ward, they were up in arms about this company, saying that they're doing a bunch of things for the Black community, saying that they're hiring people, saying that they want to help them with equity, and really not doing anything with it, right? And they've done a bunch of other developments, very reputable company. They do great work. I think there's a gap in what they envision and actually know how to execute to do with the Black community. And in that meeting, I brought one of our partners from the company that I told you about, and I met with their CEO, and we're going to do, I'll keep everybody updated, but our goal, regardless of if we do it there, regardless if we do it in another part of the city, it's going to happen. At our next 40-acre conference, we're going to build the world's first fully immersive entertainment venue that holds up to 5,000 people, has 4 different domes, has, and we were thinking about this before, a Black History Museum, right? Housing the Juneteenth Hall of Fame, an interactive art venue, an interactive kid zone, food truck park with a bunch of vendors, and a public domain, right? It's going to be the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, that this world has ever seen. And I know there's going to be some people that message me and say it can't be done, and say, hey, the vision's too large, the journey's too long, and the mission is impossible. But here's what I do know. I don't know how we're going to get it done, but I know we will. I don't have all the steps going forward, but I know that to a lot of people, I'm not going to tell them how much time it's going to be worth. I'm going to demonstrate the value that it brings to them. I know that we're going to continue to show up and bring this to different places until it falls on good ground where we're supposed to be, where we're meant to be, because I know our gifts will make room for us. And when we do it, I know it may not be perfect, but I know it's going to get done, which is better than perfect. And we're going to bring a lot of different people. We're going to bring a lot of different innovative thoughts and ideas and dreams right here to the city of Houston. And of course, to a place near you. We're going to bring life and breath and not let the history of us die, even though it's being taken out of our textbooks, specifically here in Texas. We're going to let our story be told, and we're going to tell it in an interactive and entertaining way. And we're going to make sure that this next generation has the tools, they have the talent, right? When we talk about the tools, AI is changing everything, right? There's going to be a lot of jobs that exist today that'll be gone in 2-3 years because it's all being done by AI. So we're going to transform through technology and through the workforce and the development and through technology and through doing more with less, not only software, but with more that's in your mind. We're going to help people create new things. So I'm talking hundreds of thousands of people. We're going to call it the 40-acre dream dome, right? If we're not going to get our 40 acres and a mule, we're going to create it through the same spirits of those where I stepped on Black Wall Street over 2 years ago at the 100th year anniversary of Black Wall Street. Through that same spirit of tenacity and ingenuity, we're going to make sure that things are taken to the next level. And then we're going to give people an opportunity, not if, but once this is successful, to have one of these 40-acre dream domes in every single city in the US, in Africa, in South America, in the diaspora, in 270 cities. And you're like, whoa, we've gone super, turn off the tube. No, keep it on. Because today is Tuesday, June 27th, right before 1 p.m. And I want you to know this is going to happen. I watched a clip a while back of an interview with Jeff Bezos back in 1999. And people thought he was crazy. Like, you're building this huge marketplace to sell books. I mean, but here's what people didn't know. The books were just the beginning, right? And now he built $1 trillion business and the #1 platform in the world for e-commerce. So what I was trying to convey to people, and when we were bringing together celebrities and government officials and those different things, the conference was just the beginning, just the books, just building the platform, just building the people, just bringing the process, building the technology, building the following for this next bigger thing, which I want each and every one of you to be a part of, to be participating in, to grab, equity in, right? I want to be able for your own dreams to come alive. If you have a dream for a conference that hasn't been done before, it may be a health and beauty, it may be a fitness, it may be a metaverse, it may be some type of innovative coaching, whatever that is that can push our agenda and our initiative and our people and our next generation forward. I want you to be a part of that. So You can visit us, DM me at 40 Acre Conference on Instagram. You can, and as I said, there's always going to be obstacles. 3 or 4 days before our conference, I'd put together this elaborate plan with all these groups and being able to direct message people through Facebook that was going to go automated. And a couple of days before our conference, my Facebook got hacked, right? But you got to keep going no matter what. So in closing, I just want to recap the 3 things that we talked about. If you can remember them, type it in the chat. What's number 1? Somebody type it in the chat. What's the first point that we talked about? Okay, cool. See a couple. Don't charge for your time. Make sure you charge for your value. The next one, type it in the chat. Drum roll, what do we got? You can beat 50% of people in life, right? Not trying to compare to anybody, but if you just continue to show up, you can beat 50% of the people just in life, because most people won't show up and continue to show up and continue to show up and continue to show up. And the last one is something I was taught by Les Brown. You got to go with what you got right now, with what's on the truck right now. And remember, done is better than perfect. Y'all have a blessed time.
Wow, Alan, that was awesome. Thank you so much for providing value to our community members. Such a pleasure. So I know you shared your information, but would you go ahead and share your website information?
Yes, you can find us, and if you just Google 40 Acre Conference, all of our
40 Acre Conference.
40 Acre Conference. But the website is www.40acreconference.org. You can follow us on Instagram at 40 Acre Conference. Find us on LinkedIn at 40 Acre Conference. Facebook at 40 Acre Conference. We'll have that back online shortly. But yeah, find us and tap in, and we look forward to doing great things with each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day.
All right.
Genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
Bye. The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. You may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund, or use the Cash App that's on the screen below and say it's so the $ BBX USA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Remember, every dollar counts, so we want to remind you to donate to the scholarship fund. We want to thank our Black Business Expo USA sponsors for June 2023. NC 100, Moody Capital Partners, Suede Soul, Lotus Ritchie Coaching and Training, Carolina, Virginia Minority Supplier Development Council, Step Management, BHS and Associates, Margie McLean Foundation, Genius is Common, Earth Essentials, Mullane Shawnee Global, Executive Women's Success Institute, The Quality Coaching Company, Superwoman Business Services, Creative Force Studios, Lee Entertainment, Artistic App Design, and Black Business Expo USA. Always remember, genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
Did you know women represent just 3% of Fortune 500 CEOs and less than 15% of corporate executives at top companies worldwide? Have you wondered what the secrets are to getting into the top ranks, whether in the private or public sector? Do you want to figure out how to stop being held back in your career or passed over for promotion? Then you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. I have decades of experience in the military, the federal government, and corporate America, and my mission is to help women succeed and tap into their full potential. I want to reach 1 million plus women around the world to become the leaders they are meant to be. So if you want to move into a management or executive level position, or maybe you are a female veteran transitioning out of the military into business entrepreneurship, then reach out to the Executive Women's Success Institute at 301-693-3284. Let us get you on the fast track to success.
How you doing? I'm Rodney Allen Rippey. Yeah, the child actor. Well, now, leading man. Some of you might remember back in the day, the Harlem Globetrotters popcorn machine. Remember that? Well, it was a Saturday morning special that would come on, and I was there with Geese and Tex and Meadowlark Lemon. Remember the show? Well, I had a great time. And I have to say a huge, huge thank you to all my fans out there. Thank you for all the years of support. I went on from the entertainment industry. I started getting into producing and directing. And now, hey, here I am. I'm a studio executive here in Burbank, California at 2526 Studios. I have to say, it's been pretty good, but the best is yet to come. Please stay encouraged. Keep reaching for your dreams and never forget that genius is common. Remember that. Genius is common. No matter what anyone says to you, no matter how tough the road may get, keep striving. Keep reaching for your dreams. And always know that you are worth it. Everything that you put into yourself, everything good that you pour into your life, you are worth it. And when the times get tough, when things don't go exactly right, it's okay. Dust your shoulders off. Stand up strong. And remember, genius is common.
Hello, this is Israel, and I am CEO of Daydreams Interactive and author of Princess Planet. So, genius is common, and as a kid, I loved to daydream. Even as an adult, I loved to daydream. And when my daughter became 6 and loved princess characters, but we just could not find the diversity that showed her, we created our own characters. So, for instance, you have Princess Nulu right here. Princess Nulu is from Uganda, and her genius is that she loves to take care of animals. She can actually even listen and hear what they say. And then we have Princess Isabella right here. Princess Isabella, she's from Cuba, and her genius is biochemistry. One day she hopes to eliminate disease. Then we have Princess Nia right here, and Princess Nia is based off of my daughter, and she wants to be the greatest dancer alive. So that's her genius. So what's your genius? My genius is my imagination. Genius is common.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support, where health education is abundant, where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. a safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business.
Are you tired of spending way?
In the heart of America, there are dreams waiting to be realized. Dreams of owning a home, creating a haven for families, and building a future. Yet, there are 13 million mortgage-ready home buyers and nearly 20 million renter households who have the credit and income to qualify for a mortgage but remain left out of the home buying process. These potential home buyers are in urban and rural America, where dreams should flourish. The big banks, the giants of finance, have all exited the mortgage lending business, decreasing their lending footprints across America. They are no longer present and active in these communities. Instead of offering opportunities for home ownership, some of these banks have chosen a different path. They have decided to become mega landlords. They have chosen to invest billions of dollars in rental homes, leaving potential home buyers with fewer options and stuck in a cycle of renting without the chance to build equity and create a legacy for their families. Here is the shocking truth. A report issued by the Home Ownership Council of America revealed that if lenders were to step forward and serve this underserved market, they could conservatively increase their loan volume by $1.5 trillion. $1.5 trillion. This is a $1 trillion business opportunity, ripe for the taking. That's why I Have a Dream Home is here. We support the American dream of home ownership in urban and rural America. We believe in the power of social consciousness and the impact it can have on people's lives. Investing in urban and rural America is not just good business sense. It's a moral imperative. Our mission is clear. Become the go-to mortgage lender in these communities. Create a pathway to home ownership for all Americans, breaking the cycle of poverty by empowering families to build wealth, stabilizing our communities, and taking pride in our country. I Have a Dream Home. Unlocking dreams, transforming communities, and rewriting the story of American home ownership. For more information, scan the QR code or visit our website at www.ihaveadreamhome.gold.
Hello everyone, my name is Morris the Connector. The reason for my name is I'm now connected to my inner self. So anything is possible now because I believe in myself. They say seeing is believing, but it's believing is seeing. Now I can see everything clearly now. I want to show you how I navigated myself to become Morris the Connector. I grew up with my mum and 5 siblings. This picture here is me at 18 years old, not knowing what I wanted to do. I drifted in and out of prisons selling drugs. I never knew that I could be the incredible person I am. I've navigated myself to become a successful business owner. Elite Executive Services, chauffeur company, drives some of the biggest pop stars in the world. Justin Bieber, Beyonce, Whitney Houston's tour of London, Floyd Mayweather also. I'm now wearing my crown. If you want to know how I became this person, you can sign up to a free discovery session of a coaching program called The Incredible You, and I can show you how you too can become incredible. Life happens for you, not to you. It's about what you're doing to make it happen. Change the habits. It will change you. So sign up to my Incredible You Discovery Session and let us connect. Thank you very much.
So what we have to do is when we get in the spot, we need to create some spots for us. That's the main thing. We need to be able to be in a position where we're able to create those spots for us. For me, being an entrepreneur, I'm not just going to get a business and then leave you sitting high and dry. If you ask me some questions about entrepreneurship, I'm going to give you as much as I've received. I've seen people who made it, and then when you ask them, it's like, okay, now you have to pay me for the information, the same information I got for free. We probably in totally different cities. There's no way that we're going to bump heads or anything. We're not competing. Bring me up with you. And so I just think that whatever education that I have, then I need to be able to give that to my own as well. So create the spots. You can create the spots when you get there.
Hey guys, my name is Caden. I'm the CEO of Caden Teaches, and my genius is teaching kids about financial literacy. Throughout my financial products, such as my financial flashcards, my activity book, and my newest project, my financial bus, which I bought. And on the bus, it has a mock bank where kids will learn how to deposit and withdraw money, a mock grocery store where kids will be able to learn how to have a family budget, and a mock stock exchange where kids will even be able to learn how to invest in stocks. Now, I decided to start teaching kids about financial literacy because I find that most kids graduate high school without even knowing the basics about financial literacy. And I feel if I were to teach kids about financial literacy, that I would be able to help kids tap into their genius. And I actually learned about financial literacy to my dad because I would go to business meetings with him, and I would always see that they were talking about financial literacy. And at that point, I didn't understand what financial literacy was. So I took it upon myself to learn about financial literacy and teach it to kids in a way that they could understand. But I want you guys to help me help kids tap into their genius by going to my website, cadenteaches.com, and you can sew into me in my financial bus by going to my GoFundMe link. And remember, if Caden can, you can too, because genius is common.
Hello, my name is Kiasi Helm and I'm 14 years old. I think my genius would probably have to be setting goals and achieving them. I say this because ever since I was young, I always wanted to be an author, and at age 11, I ended up achieving this. But not only did I end up becoming an author, I ended up becoming a public speaker, a publisher, a business owner, all these great things. The name of my business is Written by Kids Publishing Company. I decided to start this company because I thought it was important for me to help kids my age express themselves through literacy and just achieve their own goals. Because to me, achieving goals is the best thing in the world to feel. It's you just achieving things and aspirations that you set for yourself. And I know that everybody is capable of this because even if you don't end up achieving the goal, you still tried your best, and that's the most important thing. And everybody is capable of this because genius is common. Thank you.
Did you know a typical passenger vehicle that has a fuel economy of about 22 miles per gallon and drives about 11,500 miles per year emits about 4.6 metric tons of carbon dioxide on an annual basis?
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Good afternoon, business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Welcome to the Black Business Network. My name is Angela Baptiste, and I'm your business moderator for this afternoon on the Black Business Network. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders worldwide. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and cities all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. So today we have a keynote speaker, and our keynote speaker, her name is Dr. Rhonda Hood. And she's an international mental health speaker, author, and advocate. She's recognized as one of the most prominent voices for mental health advocacy. Dr. Rhonda is an award-winning international keynote speaker, a best-selling author, and a leading authority on mental health. She's able to leverage over 30 years of corporate experience. Dr. Rhonda impacts audiences with her mission to normalize and destigmatize mental health conversations. She trains audiences worldwide to eradicate mental health stigmas and adopt compassion, awareness, and acceptance. She advocates for a world where we can break the silence and heal out loud. As an influential figure, she's the author of a soon-to-be-released book, Truths, Traumas, and Triumphs, which guides readers from brokenness to breakthroughs so that they're inspired to step out of secrets, silence, shame, and stigma to stand in their truth and embrace their divine destiny. She's also a contributing author of the bestseller, Passion, Purpose, and Peace. She's the first ever American radio presenter with her own show, Break the Silence. Let's welcome Dr. Rhonda. Welcome, Dr. Rhonda. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's so glad
great.
to be here.
Such a pleasure to have you. And just remember, genius is common, and I'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side. See you soon. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are joining us in the different parts of the world. I am so excited to speak to you today about a very important topic and something that is very near and dear to my heart. So I want to start by sharing with you something that happened to me recently. It was actually shortly before the pandemic. And I'm in the doctor's office and I'm sitting down and he leans in and he goes like this. You are this close. I didn't know what to say. So he said it again. This close, Miss Wood. You are this close. Now listen. When he said those words, I sincerely hope that he was talking about me being close to having the winning lottery numbers. I was so hoping he was talking about I was this close to like guessing the answer of a trivia game. But no, folks, believe it or not, my doctor, when he said that I was this close, he was referring to my health. He was referring specifically to my mental health. And more deeply, he was telling me that I was this close to being in a mental crisis, to having what's known as a mental breakdown. Now, when he said those words, I was shocked. I was astonished. I'm sitting in his office and I'm calm. So I had no idea why he said that or how he had associated it with me. So I leaned in a little bit more to get some clarification and understanding. So what he was referring to, what I had shared with my doctor, and for the record, he is a doctor of psychology. He was my therapist. And I had gone to him because I was feeling symptoms of stress and overwhelm and burnout. And after hearing me share my symptoms and what I was going through and what I was experiencing, he started to recognize what was going on with me, my environment, my experience. He said from his experience, from his 25 plus years of experience, he said, I have seen this before. You are close to having a breakdown. Now, just so you know, I was completely in denial. Let me give you the frame of reference. I'm sitting in his office. Now, I worked for corporate America, so I was there, taking a break from work. So I'm in a suit. I'm in high heel shoes. I have on some amazing, my favorite jewelry, and not to mention I had on my favorite lipstick, Max Ruby Woo Red. Many of you ladies may know that. I also had my hair neatly in a bun. So I say all that to say that by all looks and appearances, I did not look like I was about to have a breakdown. That leads me to go, I want to share really quickly something that's really important. I want to talk really quickly about the different phases of mental health, or the different phases of mental health symptoms, mental illness, whatever adjective you want to use. But this is really important because I think it's important that we recognize the different phases of mental health. They can be deceptive. What I mean by that is many people, including myself at times, we learn to wear a rehearsed look that all is well. Everything is okay. Oh, no, don't worry, I'm good. Oh, I'm fine. As a matter of fact, in most cases, when people ask you how you're doing, 9 times out of 10, we are probably going to respond, I'm fine, or something along those lines. It's unusual that when people ask you, how are things? How's it going? What's going on? That we start to go into things that are not going well in our life. We have a tendency to put on the rehearsed look or the rehearsed response that all is well and everything is okay. When in fact, there are times that mental health symptoms, mental illness, whatever you want to call it, has so many faces because mental health symptoms look different from person to person. What I mean by that is a person could, a lot of people the expectation is that when you think about somebody who's dealing with a mental health challenge, when you think about somebody who has mental health symptoms, for example, depression, anxiety, or maybe even PTSD. Maybe they're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or maybe they're having just bouts of of sadness or not even wanting to be around anymore. We expect that person to show their signs externally. We expect them to show signs on the outside. We expect them to look downhearted. We expect them to be maybe isolated or maybe even externally show nervousness. We expect them to show or exhibit external signs that something is wrong. But our society has learned how to rehearse the look of all is well and that everything is fine. And that includes me. So in many cases, when people are saying that they are, everything is well and they may appear to be fine, there may even be instances where they will show up with their head held high, a big smile on their face, and again, can tell you or even show you that everything is okay. When in reality and beneath the surface, they very well may be masking emotional pain. And we've seen it even recently in the news. We saw the recent Black Miss USA, Chelsea Christ, who went to work every single day, interviewed celebrities, had an amazing job, had an amazing salary, had a supportive work crew and a loving family. However, she was functionally depressed and she died by suicide. In addition to her, many of us may have heard of the famous DJ on the Ellen DeGeneres show, Stephen Twitch Boss, who again was married, had children, had a beautiful family, worked for Ellen DeGeneres, had an amazing job, an amazing career, was very well liked, and the same thing, recently died by suicide. By all looks and appearances, a lot of people had no idea that they were even experiencing mental health issues or were planning to take their lives. And so I say all that to say we always talk about, I didn't know, or they didn't look like that. And even in my case, I didn't look like I was depressed because I was functionally depressed. I was still able to get up every day. I was still able to go to work, but I knew internally that I was doing a lot. I knew that I had taken on a lot. And I know that that's very common, particularly as leaders in our families, in our workplaces, in our business, and maybe even in our communities. We take on leadership positions. And so I wanted to talk today about prioritizing our mental health, because I want to make sure that even as we are stepping into these lanes of greatness, even as we are doing amazing things as trailblazers around the world, even as we are reaching our goals and setting more goals and setting the bar higher, that we make sure that we are checking in with ourselves, that we are prioritizing us. So I want to make sure that that stays in place. I am not in any way saying that we shouldn't reach for the stars. I am saying that as we're reaching for the stars, that we make sure that we stay connected to our mind, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, honor them, deal with them, and if necessary, take a break to reset. And so let's talk a little bit more. Let's go into a little bit more depth about that, because I think it's so important for high achievers such as entrepreneurs and business owners and leaders to make sure that we make mental health and wellness a priority so that we can continue to function in that capacity to the best of our ability. So I want to start by eliminating some myths and misconceptions. I think that's very important. Now, we've been hearing a lot about mental health and wellness because I believe it came to the surface, particularly during the pandemic, particularly with everything that's been going on around the world, even in other countries. I think it has heightened our awareness a little bit. We started to have more conversations. And what I want to do is I want to turn up that volume a little bit. Now that we're starting to talk about it, let's turn up the volume. Let me shine some light and bring more awareness and brightness to these conversations. Let's normalize having conversations regarding mental health. Let's normalize when things are not okay that we can take a step back rather than pushing through and jeopardizing our mental well-being. So let me first start. I want to make sure that we eliminate any misconceptions about, what is mental health? So I want to go over just maybe 3 or 4 really quick points. One is I want to start with what is mental health. I want to define like the official definition of that. I also want to talk about, why is it important, particularly in leadership, within entrepreneurship? And then I want to go over, how can we do our part in making sure we're making it a priority, not only for ourselves, but for the other people around us, the other people who we support or whom we lead. Okay, so let's start with, what is mental health? A lot of people have different thoughts and feelings about what mental health is, but the official definition of mental health, it actually comes from the World Health Organization. And so mental health is about being able to cope with the normal stressors of life, so that you can function productively and effectively. So mental health, again, is about being able to cope with the normal stresses of life so that you can function productively and effectively. So mental health is comprised of your emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So remember, mental health is about being able to cope with the normal stresses of life so that you can function productively and effectively. Now, understand there are going to be times when you may experience things that are outside of the norm. It is normal for you to become stressed. It is normal for you to experience. It's normal if people are going through issues with your physical health. You may experience a actual loss of a family member or a close friend. You may experience like a separation or a divorce or, a breakup of a toxic relationship or any of those things. So we're talking about signs that something is wrong. But our society has learned how to rehearse the look of all is well and that everything is fine. And that includes me.
Did you know that approximately 333.34 million businesses exist today, according to a report from 2021? And you may be one of those businesses, or maybe you're not in the business market yet, but you're aspiring to be a business owner. Well, guess what? You're in the right place at the right time. Because let's face it, everything is about timing and opportunity. Hi, my name is Dr. Lotus Richey, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Lotus Richey Coaching and Consulting LLC, along with the Lotus Richey Ignite Show. 15 minutes of success with Dr. Lotus Richey, as well as books to boom your business and bring who you are. And today, I want to bring this amazing message to you about the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics. See, the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics is designed to help people just like you, that's right, that look like me, to take their business to the next level. Not just in your front yard or your backyard, but globally. The Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics is designed not to just help you survive, but to help you thrive. So join us today as we come together with businesses all around the world to support our students, our children, our young teens, our young entrepreneurs. What we do is we come together to help raise funds for students who are aspiring to be business entrepreneurs, who are aspiring and who are thriving in college. We endow them with a wonderful opportunity to gain scholarship of either a laptop or several thousands of dollars. And we invite you to help be a contributor to this amazing opportunity to help someone that looks just like you. So join us today at our website and let us connect with you and help you ignite and take flight in every area of your life on the Black Business Network and the Black Business Olympics. I'll see you on the other side.
Artist to me is a creative expression of something from nothing. You know, it explodes onto the canvas, or it explodes on in my work. One of the things that I try to do more than anything is I try to just give the lines and the movements and emotions and expressions into what I do. Art really means to me a chance to express how I feel deep down inside. Most of my art begins as a thought that I might have, you know, whether it's sports, whether it's history, whether it's a woman or a man. It pretty much starts as an idea of thought before I get into the actual image of what I'm going to draw. I do a lot of historical pieces. I was a history minor in college, and I love to do history pieces. And a lot of times I'm thinking about history, and then I try to make that history impact you as you look at it. That's one of the reasons I do pictures so large. People ask me, why do I do the pictures so big? And I tell them, I want the piece to impact them as they're looking at it, to kind of dominate them, dominate their space. And most of my pieces I try to do off page. I don't try to do anything that's going to be in those four corners or in a square. And I want your imagination to be a part of the piece that you're looking at. The way I feel when I'm drawing, when I'm creating something, is I feel free. I feel like there's an anticipation of something that's going to come. I try not to draw first. I try to draw second. And what I mean by that is I try to allow myself to kind of get into the piece and just relax. Sometimes I miss time. I'll draw 2-3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. And while I'm drawing, it's just a free. I just feel free. I mean, I feel like time stands still. That's what it's all about in terms of the lines and the colors of my work, is to get an expression, to go deeper and past just what you see on the surface, but to go and try to find an expression that everybody gets a different taste of what that expression is, whether it's anger or whether it's being happy or whether it's being, kind of calm or nonchalant. That expression that people take away from the piece is the most important part of what I do as an artist. Bold is the size of my pieces, where I try to do the piece larger than life, to kind of push forward toward you. That's what the boldness is all about. It's not so much about the lines, it's about the size. The Face of Change art show is inspired by my mother, but more importantly, it's a historical moment in time as the pieces depict different emotions and expressions of Barack Obama. The 44th president is indicative of the 44 pieces of art that I have done in this particular collection. When you begin to think about expressions and portraits, this is a portrait gallery of expressions of what transpired as Barack Obama ran for office. Some of the pictures are abstract and some are expressionistic. And I combine both of those forms of art to create this collection of art pieces. Overcomer, brilliant, ambitious, motivated, awesome. Obama.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be. A safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
Over the past few years, we've seen the growth of existing and new initiatives focused on financial inclusion, building global networks, and reducing the wealth gap in response to the idea there's not enough seats at the table. Whether their outcomes are to increase the representation of Black executives on corporate boards, ensure an inclusive global economy, or to create new U.S. African commercial pathways, the strategies are often carried out by separate programs. The question is, should they be? With the continent of Africa being home to more than half of the world's fastest growing economies, the youngest workforce, over 400 companies generating more than $1 billion annually, 700 generating more than $500 million annually that are poised for growth, and being the destination of nearly $5 billion in venture capital in 2021. Diversifying U.S. and Africa commercial engagement by building bridges between African businesses and their U.S. diaspora should begin being seen as mutually beneficial. From helping to reduce Africa's enormous capital gap to catalyzing two-way trade opportunities, the COVID-19 global pandemic hopefully has taught us that global challenges and opportunities are more interconnected than we thought. During the pandemic, African companies like Unicorn Flutterwave, insurance provider Reliance Health, ride-hailing app Yasir, and 54Gene, the continent's first bank of DNA on people of African descent, proved that when African companies have access to networks, capital, and information, they grow big, grow fast, and create solutions that are valuable to the world. This is why Be Direct was created. We are the first U.S.-based but African-centric board preparedness and board search company designed to connect U.S. Black talent and corporations to African businesses. Unique and fundamental to Be Direct's success is our process of helping board candidates adapt their experience and networks to an African context before they're connected to high-growth companies that are looking to locally and globally scale. From our focus groups with African business execs and government leaders, we don't ignore the sentiment that business is easy, but people are hard. Having a pool of board candidates with hard-to-access networks and extensive experience across the business life cycle, including successfully raising capital, is table stakes for an initiative like this. So yes, we have that. But corporate or entrepreneurial success in the U.S. does not guarantee success in Africa. Developed alongside industry partners on the continent, our training program, Be Direct Prep, is designed to transpose their experience to create cultural comfort, understanding, and a commitment to helping businesses in Africa scale. Our board governance sessions are African continental and country specific, integrated with cultural awareness and dexterity training, masterclasses led by African industry execs, and mentoring and coaching from African continental-based facilitators. But even more unique to Be Direct Prep, we cap off our training program with an immersion trip to help candidates that have not been to Africa before see and feel Africa's complexity and opportunity from African soil. We all know traditional network-based board placement has historically left a lot of us out of ever really being in the paid board pipeline. Our strategy supports the work of many great organizations that are successfully filling seats at U.S. board tables by creating more tables for those that are still left on the sideline. It's time to start seeing the role and value of U.S. Black talent and businesses on the continent of Africa differently. Old perceptions and habits limit economic inclusion. Let's transition Black talent and the African businesses they will support from the periphery of the global economy to its core. Living in a global lockdown, we all know now how fast local and global economies can change, and see the value of having businesses that hire, strengthen local value chains, and even grow globally. Status quo in any form holds back progress. We must democratize U.S.-Africa commercial engagement by socially and economically connecting cultures that have long been disconnected. It's time for Africa's U.S. diaspora to redefine their global value by helping African businesses scale continentally and globally.
Hello, I'm Dr. Madeline Ann Lewis, President and CEO of the Executive Women's Success Institute. And my genius is helping women accelerate the path to success. You know, I was blessed to have strong women in my life who encouraged, motivated, and pushed me to do my best and to never even think about giving up on my dreams. So I say to women, we must show up to rise up. We have talents and potential, but who will see them if we don't speak up and get noticed? I know that women are a tremendous resource on this planet, and there is nothing more fulfilling than helping a woman tap into her full potential. I do this because I want to be a part of helping as many women as I can to show up, to rise up. I do this because genius is common.
Why do I do what I do? You know, my life coach asked me that a few years ago. And she said, Tony, what's your why? And I told her, and she said, girl, you've already accomplished that. Perhaps you need a new why.
Hi, Tony Harris, Amy Hoydu with Say It Said Marketing, one of your students. And just wanted to say thank you, Tony Harris, for spending so much time with me and giving me that boost in my business that I so drastically needed.
My why is to touch, move, and inspire my clients to take drastic steps to be better than they were before they met me. I'm a resource, I'm a connector. I want to help people build deeper relationships that are beneficial to their life and business. That's what I do best.
So, first thing you got to do is show up. And speaking is a way to magnetically attract your ideal client to you. How many of you use social media that way? Absolutely, and this is how you look to the world. Drastic steps are the steps that are needed to be successful. And my business is drastic denotes a mindset. Getting out of your comfort zone. Doing something that you don't necessarily feel comfortable doing, want to do, but you know it's a necessary step to be successful in your business.
I get the most satisfaction when I see my connections flourishing into relationships long after I am gone.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Augustine with Linda Jasmine, and I've joined several networking and referral groups in the area. And Network in Action Northeast Houston with Tony Harris Taylor is one of the best organizations that I've joined.
I love that piece of what I do, and it is what fuels my fire. My name is Tony Harris Taylor, saying take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow.
At 5-Star BDM, we don't just elevate brands, we forge industry icons. Our mission is to amplify your business and personal brand through dynamic AI-enhanced strategies and an elite professional network of over 20,000 experts. We empower entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses to lead, scale, and transform. Our powerful network accelerates your speed to market and connects you with unparalleled growth opportunities. If you're ready to lead, we'll position your brand to set the industry standard. Explore our comprehensive services designed to build your brand, drive growth, and innovate your business. From personal branding and business development to technology solutions and investment banking, we offer tailored strategies that deliver measurable results and help you dominate your market. Our personal branding service uniquely tailors your professional story. Starting at just $99 per project, we offer online courses, in-person workshops, and scheduled weekly calls. Perfect for individuals beginning their personal branding journey, we help you craft a legacy that commands attention and respect. Strategic plans and execution are at the heart of our business development services. We focus on sustainable growth, helping you secure funding, scale operations, and expand your market reach. Our expertise ensures your business thrives in competitive environments. Innovate with custom artificial intelligence, machine learning, and software solutions tailored to your needs. Our technology services are designed to enhance your business operations and drive efficiency, ensuring you stay ahead in the digital age. Discover real stories and real results. From healthcare startups to tech entrepreneurs, our clients have achieved extraordinary success. For instance, a healthcare brand transformation led to a 40% drop in patient infections, showcasing our impact in diverse industries. Are you searching for a website that truly reflects your mission and vision? The 5-star BDM Website Services portfolio, led by Grant McGaw, transforms ideas into impactful digital platforms for personal brands, nonprofits, and small businesses. Each project in our portfolio tells a unique story. From JADICC, a infection control expert organization with professional polish, to Ekaba World Community, a dynamic hub for events and memberships, and Pink Lotus Project, empowering women with donation and program features, every site is crafted using our Brave branding framework and mobile-first development. Our portfolio is more than a gallery. It highlights project context, purpose, and measurable outcomes. We demonstrate brand consistency, strategic user experience, and deliver results that build trust and drive engagement. A world-class portfolio proves capability, sets you apart from competitors, and positions you as an authority. It is your most trusted sales tool and reputation asset. Ready for a website that leads with purpose? Book a discovery consultation or request a brand audit today.
When you hear the word extraordinary, what words come to mind? Outstanding, above and beyond, yes, way above average, amazing, huge, right? Well, here's what I want to tell you. The only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is extra. The only difference between hot water and boiling water is 1 degree. You see, at 211 degrees, water is hot, right? 212 degrees, it boils. With boiling water comes steam. With steam, you can power a train. 1 degree. The only difference between winning and losing is belief. The only difference between a person living their full potential and not reaching their full potential is desire. Continue adding that little extra in your community. There's a difference between success and significance. Success is adding value to yourself. Significance is adding value to other people. The question you have to ask yourself there is, How can I add value to them? So you have to be intentional about how you're going to add value to that person. Everybody wants to know that you have something good planned for them.
1, 2, 3, down.
See, there were two guys that decided to take lunch. They were factory workers. And they sat down, and one guy reached in his lunch pail, and he pulled out a sandwich.
And he looked at it and he says, oh my God, this is another bologna sandwich. He goes,
I don't want another bologna sandwich. I hate bologna. Why do I keep having bologna sandwiches?
His friend said, come on down, man, just relax. He says, it's going to be okay. He says, next time, tell your wife, don't fix you a bologna sandwich, and it'll be okay.
He said, leave my wife out of this. I fix my own one every day.
You see, the bologna that we have in our life, we pack it.
The bologna that we pack in our lunch pail, we put it there.
The question is, what bologna are you packing in your lunch pail every day? What bologna are you packing with you from last year into this year? And what bologna are you going to pack from this year into next year?
This young lady right here, I got married. I was 19. She was 17. Senior at Washington Merritt High School. We didn't want bologna in our lives forever. We decided to live a life of significance and give back to our community that helped us every day. Not every other day, not some days, not most days, but every day to give back to someone else.
The harder you fall, the higher you bounce back.